Hi, this is BK Black Krishna from manfulwars.com here on Friday, February 22nd, 2019 in downtown Toronto, Canada. And it's 3:31 p.m. So you should see a bunch of people that are excited to get off work on a Friday afternoon and look forward to the weekend, and that should be awesome. However, I'm promoting polite patriotism at manfulwars.com. Tell people, be nice ladies and gents. You teach kids. Most people straight, great at it. LGBT, whatever it can fit in. And then they can look, walk, talk, and feel great and communicate well offline about what they're online as proud nationalists against globalism. So that's a key topic. It's a key thing that's happening around the world. Canadians are lagging a bit behind because we've been a little soft. We've had it pretty good. Not nearly as good as we should. I think we got the second largest country in the world, full of resources, just 35 million people or so. We should all be millionaires, just like they do in the Middle East, where they've got a little patch of land, tons of resources for the amount of people they have, and they make themselves all rich, and they try and protect where they live. So we've had it good. We've also been kind of screwed out of that, and this is something that we can aim for, as long as we're nice, polite ladies and gents, teaching kids, can look, walk, talk, and feel great, and communicate well about all sorts of things, including that stuff. So, but when it comes to this, this vlog is called How to Win the Offline Info War. How to win the offline info war, right? So what is the info war? There's an online info war and an offline info war. What is the info war? Well, for thousands of years, but especially in the last 50 or so, and certainly in the last 20 or so, there has been an ongoing information war where there are people putting out bad information, and there are other people trying to put out good information to counteract that bad information, right? If you don't have good information counteracting bad information, then you're a mess. If you've got rude liars messing with people that are putting bad information out there, then they might make rude liars messing with people out of normal people, right? And then people are confused, people make bad choices when it comes to their media, family, friends, when it comes to elections and so on. So the information war has been people trying to counteract that bad information individually, story X, and then there's the mainstream version, and then there's the independent or alternative media version, or story Y or story Z or whatever on an ongoing basis. And then there's the bigger picture of, wait a second, why is this happening here where we live when nobody wants this, right? Nobody wants open borders. Yeah, don't worry about that stuff. Don't talk about it. Just let anybody in. Don't say anything. We don't care. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants children to be sexualized. You can't walk around with a clipboard saying, excuse me, just a Canadian here, and I'm trying to go around to other Canadians and say we should teach little kids more and more about more and more types of sex at younger and younger ages. You'd get ignored or told off or punched in the face or arrested, and you damn well should be. But that's here. So aside from the individual bad news stories, what's the big picture? Why is all this stupid stuff happening here that nobody wants, right? And that's why there's nationalism versus globalism. Because nationalism is a proud, polite, patriotic people controlling their country, culture, future, and so on. Globalism is people in a country giving that up to the New World Order, super rich people who control international institutions and try and use those institutions to control individual countries and bring them into a global governance structure, hence globalism. So, excuse me, more nationalism is, we're the people, we get worked up about something, and the media covers it, and our politicians react to it, and we get it, right? Whereas globalism is the United Nations and World Trade Organization and World Bank and all these other international institutions. They pass ideas, they pass sort of policy papers and so on, and then they use their activist arms and control over the corrupt media and other institutions to try and push that in your country. So if you're like, where did open borders come from? We didn't want that. Why is it happening all over the world? It's not like a bunch of people in different countries decided, this is what we want, right? No, the UN has documents and plans and papers, and they work on this stuff all the time. And they say they came up with the idea that you should be allowed to leave any country that you don't want to be in, and so they passed that. And that seemed reasonable. right? It seemed like, well, yeah, you shouldn't be persecuted, you shouldn't be this, you shouldn't be that. But then the next stage of that, which just happened with the UN Global Compact on Migration, signed in December 2018 by Justin Trudeau, Justin Trudeau's government in Canada and others, and Canada's supposed to be a world leader on this. Now you not only have a right to leave any country that you're not comfortable in, you have a right to go into any country you want, right? And we're supposed to make that easier. We're supposed to use the money to make that easier, resources, and so on, right? And so that's the UN. That's not something that local people decided. That's the UN. When it comes to children being sexualized, nobody here was agitating for that. We need to do this, put it in schools, pressure the people, pressure the media, pressure the politicians, pressure teachers. No, that was, again, the United Nations, IPPF, International Planned Parenthood Federation. They came out with their Exclaim document, children have sexual rights, children are sexual beings. We need to recognize this. The United Nations did in 2010, 2011. Great independent news organizations like LifeSite News and others covered it. And then 2-3 years later, 4 years later, it's laundered and lands in your school system. So there's a lot of bad ideas. Or polite Canadians. Canadians want to be polite. World famous, nice, polite Canadians. You go anywhere in Canada, you meet polite Canadians. Canadians go anywhere in the world, you meet polite Canadians. 99% of the time, right? That's our national character and culture. So nobody wants rude, sketchy Canadians who bother people who don't like it till you don't like them, and you can't get along with people you know, and then you bother strangers who don't like it till you don't like them, and you just walk around bothering people, trying to force people to see you look ugly until they don't like you. And when it's hard to force people to see you look ugly, because it's hard, Canadians don't want to see people look ugly that much, then instead of being near people and force people to see you look ugly because it's hard, you run near people like a rude, sketchy, crazy homeless person, try and force people to see you look ugly, and then run away. Right? Because it's hard to sort of do that with people near you as much as you want, right? So where did that come from? And that's part of, the UN, globalism, New World Order, turning people into zombies, corporate clones, killing them off, replacing them with AI, artificial intelligence, and robots. Maybe not everybody, but most people don't need, at this point. So needed it before, but now, not really. So, instead of strong, healthy families and communities and cultures, they're now trying to weaken all that. When they needed strong, like if you need fattened sheep, you feed them. If you want to kill them, then you kill them, right? So that's basically, what they're up to. So the offline information war is, what will work to help people communicate with each other where they live. Now, the online information war is great. It's helped us get this far, right? There's Infowars.com by the venerable Alex Jones, around for 22 years now, 100 employees, right? 80, 90% of the time, wrong, 10, 20% of the time, but really valuable stuff there that you can't get anywhere else. And they give other people a platform as well. Plus, there's many other independent news organizations and independent people and individuals trying to explain and expose all this and deal with individual issues as they come up, or deal with the bigger picture and expose that so you've got a better framing mechanism for everything else that's going on. So that's online, YouTube videos, memes, Facebook posts, and so on and so forth. And typically, it's people that are more conservative or on the right that are dominating the space. Why? Because conservatives try and preserve what works to make people happy, whereas liberals try and make changes to make people happy. So, when it comes to this, who's behind the changes? If normal people were behind the changes, then they could comfortably understand them and explain them and convince other people that those changes are worthwhile. If those people are not behind the changes, then they can't do that, and as part of the commie zombification, they make sure nobody else can offline. So by that I mean, if you get a bunch of people in Calgary, Alberta, for example, a few years ago, and some people, figured out that fluoride is actually bad for you. Fluoride that supposedly it's in your toothpaste that they often put in the water supply, it's actually really bad for you, right? In the early 1900s, the early part of the 20th century, fluoride pollution started off the environmental movement. That's what started off the modern day environmental movement. They were dumping fluoride in New York State. They were dumping fluoride in the river. That fluoride was, bubbling up through evaporation, and it was making all the local cattle sick, making the local people sick. So you've got people with science from like the 1920s holding up these signs, picketing, we want fluoride out of here, get the fluoride out of here, right? So, since the early 1900s, they've known fluoride's bad for you. It's an industrial pollutant. It comes from aluminum waste. You make aluminum, you've got to throw something out. Once you have the aluminum there, that's fluoride, right? And it was also used as a roach and rat poison. And even today, you can go and buy fluoride as a roach and rat poison if you got a roach or rat problem. It was also used by the communists in communist Russia and the Nazis to pacify people, because it's like Prozac. You put it in the water, you feed it to people some way, and it makes them dumber. It eats holes in your brain. It causes bone cancer, brain cancer, and so on, right? But then, in the 1950s, the fluoride industry bribed a bunch of dentists. And you don't have to bribe all, 300,000 of them. You can just bribe the 30 that are in charge of the Dental Association. And so they bribed them. And then the dentist said, nope, putting fluoride in water is good for your teeth, right? It's good for your teeth. And it's like, well, if it's medication, shouldn't it be individual? Like, this little kid should take this much fluoride, that adults should take this much fluoride, that 250-pound man should take this much fluoride, that 95-pound woman should, nope, just put it in there, take it, it's good for you, whatever. It's like, okay. But in I think 2010-11, people in Calgary, Alberta, had figured out that, not everybody, but some people in Calgary, Alberta, had figured out that, fluoride was bad for you, right? And so they started agitating, they started, telling each other, they started being activists, and they launched the online and offline information war, right? So they got together, they, website, YouTube videos, posters, and flyers, and they had meetings, and they could talk to each other about it. And this is typically how things get done, is, you can meet online, and you can connect, but online you're often talking to nobody and everybody at the same time. You make a YouTube video, hey, I'm talking to nobody and everybody. A YouTube comment, Facebook comment, whatever, nobody and everybody. And that's part of what leads to the gender-neutral commie zombification of people who desperately want attention from everybody and nobody. That's partly, part of that phenomenon, right? But when it comes to the offline information war, all those online efforts and research and discussions and websites and people getting together created a community in Calgary of, say 10, 20 people that were like, no, this fluoride thing is serious. We all respect each other. We all trust each other. We all like each other. We're all polite Canadians in Calgary, Alberta. So we're going to take a stand on this for ourselves, our kids, our community, and our future, right? So you had those 10, 20, anti-fluoride activists in Calgary, Alberta, right, who were polite Canadians who could respect people could respect them, and other people were fine with it. As long as people are all nice and polite and respect each other, you're not making people uncomfortable with what you do, so you're not worried what you do, you're not worried what you say, you're not trying to mess with people with how you act. So what you're saying is trying not to mess with people. You might not like hearing it, but they're not trying to mess with you, and you can work that out to your satisfaction. I want to hear more, or I don't. But you're not trying to make it hard to talk or make people uncomfortable with what you do or what you say, right? So in Calgary, Alberta, these 10, 20 or whatever activists got together, and they, confirmed, they spoke with each other as nice, polite Canadians. They communicated with each other, and they were like, okay, so we all feel this way. Let's have a meeting, and let's meet together, and let's respect each other and talk to each other comfortably. Then let's go reach out to everybody else. So then they came up with posters and flyers and, check out this website or whatever, and they shared it with other people. And when those other people in Calgary, Alberta were nice, polite Canadians, right, then they could hear stuff and they could think about it. Then they could be nice to people, and those people could be nice to them, and then they could talk about it, right? So it wasn't hard. Or you could leave somebody with a flyer, poster, magazine, whatever. You could leave somebody with something, or you could recommend a YouTube video, or you could recommend this or that, and they could hear it, digest it, think about it, understand it, and they could pass it on, or they could make smarter choices. So this small group of people in Calgary, Alberta got active, and they put up posters, flyers, whatever. They got some independent media coverage. That independent media coverage and those meetings and so on led to some mainstream media coverage That mainstream media coverage put some pressure on politicians and the political system. And then I think it was around 2011 or so, the city of Calgary, Alberta, voted, the city council, to take fluoride out of their water supply. Save them a bunch of money, save people's health. It's not just useless and a waste of money, it's also dangerous, right? And so that's an example of the offline information war working, right? And Toronto City Council never called Calgary and went, hey, why'd you guys do that? No, we're a city council too. You're like the third largest city in Canada, third, fourth largest city or whatever, and we're like the largest city. Why'd you guys do that? Right? No, a bunch of people got excited about it. Media covered it. They fact-checked it. The city councilors got pressured. They took a bold stand with all the backing from people in the media. And then the city council looked at the evidence, and then they voted, and now you're not paying for fluoride anymore. You're saving, whatever, $1 million a year, whatever it is in your city. So why did you guys do that? Right? Toronto City Council never called about that. Right? When they should, when everybody should. It was, why'd you guys do that? Right? And there's the fluoride debate going on around the world in various jurisdictions. Large parts of Europe don't use it, blah, blah. But this isn't about fluoride. This is about that process, right? The offline information war. Because online, there's increasing censorship right now, right? There's increasing censorship. There's self-censorship. There's censorship. There's, oh my goodness, I can't lose my Twitter account, my Instagram account, my Facebook account, my YouTube, my whatever, and there's much more splintered information out there. Before people used to watch, three television news networks, 3, 4 newspapers. They all used to say similar things. People knew similar things, right or wrong things, but they could connect well and talk about them, right? It wasn't like, hey, I looked at 30 different websites today. I looked at 30 different ones from yours, right? And so it's hard to connect as well in that sense, right? But when it comes to the offline information war, that's how you get people in your community communicating well with each other. Online, it's often to nobody and everybody, or it's about stuff that doesn't really relate to you, or you can take in all this online information, and then you don't know what to do with it necessarily, right? You're sort of socially constipated, trouble talking with political correctness and so on, and gender neutralized, trouble acting like men and women. What do we do? What are we supposed to do? What's cool? What's not, right? So can't talk, and then act sketchy to compensate, and then act too sketchy to make each other comfortable enough to talk, and then just keep acting sketchy, and then that's it, right? So that's why the offline information war is so important, right? Is to get out there and to facilitate conversations between people where you live to help them communicate with each other more intelligently about things. Because online, people can hear people talk for hours, right? I know myself. I love it when there's a YouTube video and there's a YouTube commentator, or BitChute, another YouTube channel or video channel, whatever, and they're not worked up and trying to force me to see them look ugly and sketchy and make me uncomfortable while they're talking to me, or while I'm watching them, while I'm looking at them, near them. And because they're not trying to get worked up, force me to see them look ugly, make them uncomfortable, or whatever, and I'm not, they can't see me. It's a YouTube video, it's a stream, or it's a video. It's comfortable to hear them talk for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, right? It's comfortable because they're not trying to disrespect you, so you don't respect them, so you can't communicate well. They're not trying to make you too uncomfortable to be near each other, talk to each other, listen to each other, and so on, right? So online, people can hear people talk for hours, right? That's why YouTube is so huge. That's why podcasts are so popular, and so on, right? There's a real market out there for people who can just talk without being bothered and messed up or bothering people or whatever. There's a real market out there, right? People that can't talk to their family and friends can go watch a YouTube video for 2 hours or 3 hours of somebody talking, right? And one of the reasons is people are not acting nice and polite enough to talk, right? If you can't act nice enough to talk, then there's an issue there, right? So when it comes to the offline info war, one of the things you can do is promote polite patriotism, right? Polite patriotism. Now, everybody likes polite. Not everybody likes patriotism. And that's fair, right? Polite, great, makes life easier. Everybody likes be nice. You can go anywhere, say people should be nice. They don't look at you like you're a moron. You can put up posters like the Go Transit here in Toronto. A train system operates to, from, and around Toronto about an hour and a half. You pay about $20-25 a day back and forth to take the Go trains instead of driving to and from work in rush hour traffic. And then Go Transit got some complaints. People were acting too rude on the Go trains and buses. So they put up a nice better etiquette campaign, tasteful, not some miserable liberal to make you feel bad. You should feel bad, they feel bad, you have to be a mess, put up with a mess, whatever crap, right? But nice, tasteful, whimsical, campaign. Wouldn't it suck if we all talked on our cell phones at the same time? Wouldn't it suck if people didn't share space comfortably? They were doing yoga in the middle of the damn Go train or whatever, and over a few months, 40% reduction in antisocial behavior. 85% of people said they had heard of and generally like the campaign and the idea. Thousands of social media impressions, most of them positive, right? So when it comes to polite patriotism, promoting be nice to help people be nice to each other and look, walk, talk, feel, and do great is something that can appeal to everybody where you live, right? Be nice. We think people should be nice. What are people going to say? No? No way. Screw you, buddy. No way people should be nice. Adults shouldn't have any self-respect as nice, polite ladies and gents. They shouldn't teach kids to. People shouldn't be nice enough to talk. Bad idea. No. They're not against that, right? And then, besides be nice, when people are nice enough to talk and they're cool with you saying be nice, then you can add get bad guys. Once you do be nice, then you can add get bad guys. If you just say get bad guys to people that aren't nice and that are all messed up and can't, be nice to each other and talk, then it's just too much to handle. Just being near people is too much to handle. Just being near people is stressful enough, right? So you can't say anything different, controversial, interesting. It's too weird, right? It's too saying anything different, too weird, too controversial, too political, too this, too that. You're acting like you're trying to bother people, so what you're saying is probably trying to bother people. So, what's the point, right? Just messing with people, two ways, right? So you can't say anything different. You can't say anything the same, or it's, not much, because it's too boring, right? So different's too scary, too weird, too uncomfortable. The same is too boring. Hey, it's cold, isn't it? Yeah, it is. That's what happens in January. Yeah, who cares? Right? So can't say anything different, can't say anything same. Difference too scary, same's too boring. However, with polite patriotism and the offline information war, promoting be nice can help people say get bad guys. Right? Because if you promote be nice, polite, and then patriotism, then people should be nice to each other and we should defend where we live. So 100% of people, or 90, unless it's truly scumbag, 98% of people, 99% of people like be nice. And then 5-10% of people can comfortably say get bad guys, and it's easier, right? Then you can meet offline. You can have meetings where you can be near other people, they can be near you, and you can talk to each other like humans who respect each other. Right? Nice, polite ladies and gents. Don't get worked up by people who don't like it, they don't like you, then can't get along with people you know much, and then go bother strangers, like poor crazy homeless people. Right? Don't do that. Right? And then you can meet, you can discuss things, and then you can, put up some posters and some flyers. They work for thousands of years. Thousands of years ago, used to be, a guy could just walk around and say stuff. People could think about it, hear it, and then, pass it on. Right? Hey, don't kill your kids to sacrifice them to the sun because there's an eclipse. Just wait a few hours. Once the moon stops covering the sun and keeps going, then, we should be fine, and your kids will be alive, and don't worry about it. And you can think about it, you can hear it, think about it, you can talk about it, you can pass it on, right? And that changed to posters and flyers for the last 3,000 years, right? You always put them up, hey, people should be nice, or we should get bad guys, the king sucks. Or like the Boston Tea Party in America, before the American Revolution. It was 10 years before the American Revolution in 1776, when the 13 American colonies rebelled against the British Empire. It took 10 years to do that. 10 years of posters and flyers and committees of correspondence and people writing these committees of correspondence, letters back and forth, and getting each other ready. And then it was only like 5% of the population. Now, that's a lot of people when it comes to a country, but it was just a small percentage of the population that rebelled against the British. But the rest were fine with it. The other people were okay with it. They're like, well, if you try to do the right thing, they might get killed, and it seemed nice enough, so good luck. You're fine with it, right? And so when it comes to today and the modern offline information war, we moved on from person walking around, posters, flyers, committees of correspondence, or 500 years ago, or just even recently, they used to have an apple crate or a speaker's corner in town where, on a Saturday in the grocery shopping area 500 or 1,000 years ago, there'd be a little box there, and people would take turns standing for 5-10 minutes on the box and giving little speeches to everybody around. And if you liked it, you just might stand there and listen. If you didn't like it, you might just keep walking and shopping. If you really didn't like it, you might throw some rotten fruit at them and get them off there, right? But there was, walk around, or posters, flyers, this, or speaker's corner, or you'd have a little podium there. There's still a speaker's corner in London, England, but people could hear things, and then they could be nice to each other, and then they could share those things, right? Now we've got YouTube channels, we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, we've got all sorts of ways, all sorts of information out there. And if nice, polite ladies and gents, don't make each other uncomfortable with what they do, then it seems like they're not trying to make each other uncomfortable with what they say. And so generally communicating well is fine. And then communicating about specific things that might be a little bit more controversial becomes a lot easier as well. So that's the offline information war. And, here at 3:58 p.m. on Friday, February 22nd, 2019 in downtown Toronto, Canada. I've got the last couple of years on video of people acting too rude and sketchy to talk, and then wandering around bothering strangers as they make each other put up with and act like it more and more, and then they make it impossible to do anything else, right? Like lying bitches begging to be broken, pretend rude, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girlfriends. They'd rather be ignored by a polite, busy man than stuck with a miserable, weak, lying, bitchy man who puts up with that garbage or acts like it, right? So they all enjoy, they all have a good time. They just politely ignore, forget about them, and they run over and have their fun and run away while you do other stuff, right? Or like poor, mentally ill, rude, sketchy, homeless people do the same thing. If your only options are to force someone to see you look ugly until they don't like you, or they force you to see them look ugly if you don't like them, then you're way happier being ignored, right? Then you're not that bad. If every time you hear someone's like, ew, yuck, and then someone's like, no, it's okay, best you can do, right? So that's why you see so many rude, sketchy people, getting off on being ignored, right? Because that's the best they can do. Either lying, bitches, baby, broken, got men brainwashed into being so bad at men, they're bad at being women, turn to rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girls. Then they sexually harass each other, and when they won't look at each other much, because they're not trying to be girls or good at being girls, they just make you put up with them, right? Like rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly, pretend girlfriends, right? Bust each other's balls, make each other feel uncomfortable, and then, go bother strangers when they can't get along with each other, right? And when they won't look at each other enough, when they try and sexually harass each other, then they jealously harass girls, right? So they might, some girls walking that way, this guy's like, man, having trouble trying to force all these guys to see me act like a girl, look at me like I'm a girl, I'm just going to follow this girl, and then try and force other guys to see me, maybe that girl will get looked at, and then I can steal that look for me, right? But then when people do that over and over again, then there's no girls left, there's no men or women left, right? Because they make each other too uncomfortable, so they're just desperate, right? They're desperate to find anyone that's just, you could be a weirdo, you could be, like me, Tupelo, sunglasses. I politely ignore people acting rude, stay in a good mood. I hold this up, or hold this up to avoid people who desperately want to force you to see look ugly. And so I'm definitely not, Prince Charming, but I'm the closest they get. So that's why they love it. They have a great time, You know, because the rest of them are all dead, right? They used to do that with each other, but they killed each other, right? Once the guys killed each other by busting each other's balls like rude, ugly girls, and then they killed the girls by making them put up with and act like that, and the kids, then that's all they can do, right? So now, you know, every time, you know, and I remember being a young man, it was a hell of a lot of fun, right? And when I was a young man, near a young lady, you know, my goal was to make sure I'm cool and nice to her, and hopefully she's nice to me, and she's not either a mess for me to deal with, or she's friendly and attractive, right? So I never got in the habit of trying to, you know, force people to see me look ugly, and then having them see, you know, force me to see them look ugly, right? But these days, you know, you could have like a buddy of mine where I used to work, you know, whatever, gets in an elevator, and he's a 6 foot tall, you know, decent looking, you know, young blonde, you know, white guy, 6 foot, decent shape, should be in the prime of his life, right? And we're on an elevator, and a girl gets on, and all of a sudden he wipes his nose, neck's sketchy, and then she wipes her nose, neck's sketchy, and she looks down at her phone and feels like crap. And I'm just like, ugh, gross. So then we get off the elevator, and then I grab my buddy by his friggin' shirt collar, and I slam him against the wall, because I'm older than him, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, and I'd slam him against the wall, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Why the fuck you make that girl uncomfortable with no fucking reason? You know? And he's like, well, I just, you know, he's quiet, sheepish. I'm like, look, man, you could have been a cool guy with a nice, that girl was cute. She was a cute young girl, just like you're supposedly a cute young guy. You don't just get worked up and force you to see you look ugly, and then she forces you to see you look ugly, and she's not comfortable near you, and then you're 6 foot tall, 190 pound, you know, trying to work out and look good as a young man. Ass is just some piece of shit for her to put up with, and she's some piece of shit for you to put up with, right? So, you know, I didn't want to make a scene. I didn't want, she was already uncomfortable. But when we got out of the elevator, I grabbed him by his, you know, shirt like that, and put him up against the wall. What the fuck are you doing, right? Anyway, but you know, if everyone has to put up with and act like people doing that, then, you know, I'm not going to ask them to do something like this, right? It's, you know, but I do feel bad because it used to be easy, right? It used to be easy, right? Like I've been, you know, a young, you know, good-looking man, and I've been near girls, and I haven't forced them to see me look ugly, and they ain't forced me to see them look ugly, and we get along great. And then you consistently empower each other, and you're not always a mess, right? It's bad enough when a guy does it, but some guys just, whatever, just some sack of shit, you know, it's nothing, right? When a girl does it, it's even more emasculating, because your job is to make sure she's okay. Your job is not to make sure some other guy's okay. You should be able to, and if it comes up, or whatever, fine. But he's supposed to be cool and make sure other people are cool. If he's not, he's not, right? But if there's a girl near you, and she's like, well, I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm crossing the street, I'm doing this now, but with you, I can be cool, all this other crap is none of my business, and we can be nice to each other, so great, right? So you know, that's the difference, right? And so when a girl does it, it's more emasculating. So once the guys break each other, and then they break the girls, then the girls break the guys, you know, way more. And it's not their fault. What else can they do, right? If you're a rude, ugly girl, I'm a rude, ugly girl. What's supposed to do with you? You know, what else? We expect, right? So that makes it even worse, right? And then people make each other bad for each other, because, you know, you're going to go somewhere, you're going to run into somebody who's a victim of this, and even if you're a perfectly nice guy, they're going to do it anyway. You know, I've been near people, I've been near a nice guy, not bothering him, really bothered, and they still want to do it to you. I didn't do anything to you, right? Typically, you know, you wouldn't have a 200-pound man, you know, running up to people, forcing them to see him look ugly and running away. And you wouldn't have a 100-pound woman running up to people and force people to see him look ugly and running away. And if a 200-pound man does that, you know, to another man or to a woman or whatever, he feels like crap. And if a 100-pound woman does that to another woman or to a man or whatever, she feels like crap. And they both feel like crap, right? Because as a man, right, in the, you know, traditional sense of the word, right, not great at it, but not horrible at it, right? As a man, you know, I know that that's not what's supposed to happen, right? I know that nobody wants to happen. Nobody's like this. Let me explain this to you. Let me set you straight, young man. Nobody likes it. You know, even with people worked up and bothering people, I've asked, you know, because nobody likes it. Nobody, you know, I've asked. If someone's worked up bothering me, pretend lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly zombie girlfriend, just worked up, spazzing out near you, making you put up with them. And I've been like, well, it's not my thing. But if you can just go up to strangers and do this with them, then surely somebody here in this group of people will like this happening to them, right? Just like, if you go up to somebody and you're a nice, polite Canadian or wherever you're from, and you say, oh, excuse me, and you don't get worked up and make them put up with you when it comes to how you act or what you say. You're just nice. You give them some space. You don't approach them. You don't walk too fast, talk too much, nothing like that. And you say, excuse me. Yeah, how can I help you? Oh, I was just looking for a Tim Hortons nearby. I'm dying, and I'm not new to the area, but I'd love to get a coffee. Oh, sure, man. No, there's just one down there. Just go down those escalators. It's Tim Hortons over there. Oh, thank you. Have a good day. You can do that with people when you're nice to each other, right? When you're not nice to each other, everything becomes harder. And I've asked people, right? I've been at the, GO station. There's people waiting for a GO train. They're clearly doing nothing. They're bored. They're even too bored to look at their phone. They're bored of their phone. They're doing nothing. And there's somebody near me worked up, forced me to see them look ugly and sketchy, and trying to make me uncomfortable. And I'm not into it, so I'm just ignoring it, hold this look away. But they're still there. They still keep it. They don't care what anyone's doing. No one cares what they're doing. They just keep going. So I'm like, all right. So I ignored and forgot about them. But they're still here. They just got turned on, right? A lot of people don't like it, so you don't like them, right? So I'm like, all right. So you people over there waiting for a GO train or a GO bus, you 20, 30 people just doing nothing. Would you like this person to come over and get worked up and force you to see them look ugly, sketchy, make you uncomfortable, it's worked up, bother strangers? Any of you 20, 30 people over there, want this person? I don't know this person. I have nothing to do with it. Don't blame me for what they're doing. I'm doing something else. I forgot about it, right? But since they're still here, and they seem to think you can do this with strangers, and strangers like it, would one of you 20, 30 people sitting over there doing nothing like this person worked up, forcing you to see them look ugly, bothering you? No, they don't. No, they don't say anything. They don't. Because you don't have to say. You can just put your hand up, or you just look over and nod or whatever. They don't do it. They just look at you like, they shrink a bit. Ugh, don't bother me. Don't bring it up. Don't bother me with that shit. I'm just glad it's not happening now. No, I'm not interested. Right? They don't care. They don't like it. So, because I've tried. I'm like, all right, fine. You can just do this. You can just do this. Like, you can go up to somebody and ask them for directions, ask them for the time. You can just do this with strangers. This type of thing you can do with strangers. Then I ask other strangers. I'm like, all right, they're a stranger to me. They're probably a stranger to you. Do you want this person doing that? Do you want this person worked up, forcing you to see them look ugly? I'm not trying to target anybody or pick on anybody. I'm just saying generally to people there at the GO station or at the mall or whatever, so this person is worked up, forcing me to see them look ugly. I'm not interested, but they think they can do that with just random strangers in Toronto. Would any of you other people in Toronto, Torontonians or whoever, fellow Canadians out there, are any of you interested in this? Because if so, I'll just send them over to you. Right? I'm happy to send this person over to you. So I'm out, but listen, go over there. That person is bored and doing nothing. They'd love it if you got worked up and forced them to see you look ugly. Right? But nobody likes it. Nobody cares. Right? So, it's important to note that. And when it comes to the offline information war, that's why it's important to make sure people act like nice, polite ladies and gents who can talk to each other for hours, not just watch stuff online for hours, but can talk to each other about what they watch online for hours. That's the offline information war. Making sure that offline you are reaching out to people where you live, you are getting them informed and empowered instead of uninformed and disempowered, or misinformed and disempowering, whatever. You're making sure there are more informed and empowered people where you live as an adult there on behalf of yourself, other adults, kids, your family, friends, and future. Right? That's what you do. And that's why this makes it so tough. So people can go crazy online, and I understand, I respect that. I've done online stuff before, but it's not like offline. Offline is way better. Offline, where you connect with people because you can respect each other. Offline, where you can work together to inform other people where you live. Nice, helpful people making more. Simple. Nice, helpful people making more. Right? You like it? Great. You don't like it? They're not going to bother you. Right? Now, when it comes to the offline information war, what you have to do is make sure that it's not hard to talk to people where you live. Because if it is hard to talk to people, then you can watch hours of YouTube videos. You can watch hours of Rebel Media, the Rebel.media in Canada, a great independent news organization. You can watch hours of InfoWars or Faith Goldie's YouTube channel, or all these people out there, bitching and complaining about stuff, right? Sometimes intelligently and authoritatively, sometimes not. You can do all that. You can't do much about it, right? Like, you can go. There can be people on YouTube, YouTube comments or Twitter tweets, Twitter comments. Sometimes little snarky, bitchy blurts of people. Not a fully formed adult who's communicating with other adults about this. Just, I'm a mess, this is crazy, Canadians need to wake up, things suck, we're going to lose this country, right? Now, if you were talking with people about that, then you could have a good conversation about it. But if all you do is kind of snarky, bitchy blurt on a YouTube comment, Twitter tweet, Twitter comment, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, then it's not as cool. And you don't evolve out of that. You don't help people evolve out of that. So that's what turns people into snarky, bitchy blurts, right? Is just a little snarky, bitchy blurt online to nobody and everybody, and offline, same thing. Just a bitchy mess? To who? Nobody and everybody. Just a bitchy mess, right? So when it comes to the offline information war, that's why it's so important to make sure people can talk offline. Otherwise, here in downtown Toronto, Canada, it's 4:12 p.m. on Friday, February 22nd, 2019. And here in downtown Toronto, Canada, I'm in the Bay Street Financial District, where some of the smartest people in Canada work, smartest and most successful people in Canada work. And you should see on a Friday afternoon a bunch of nice, happy, people with an average income of $100,000 a year who are happy it's Friday afternoon and they're off work, possibly early, took a half day off, 2, 3, 4, p.m. or whatever, and they get to go home for the weekend or go away for the weekend or get on with their weekend. Typically, like a few years ago, you would just see a bunch of nice, polite, confident, happy Canadians just celebrating the fact that it's Friday afternoon. Not rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy zombies attacking any nice, polite Canadians until they're zombies too. Right? That wasn't normal. So that's part of the offline information war, is even the smartest and most successful people in Canada just want to get worked up and force you to see them look ugly till you can't talk. And then when you don't like each other, they go force strangers to see them look ugly. And then when it's hard to be near people, because it's hard to be near people, force you to see them look ugly, they run near people and they force you to see them look ugly and they run away. Because they know as soon as you're near them, it's going to be awful. So they run near you, they know it's going to be awful, and they force you to see them look ugly and then they run away. Right? So that's why the offline information war is so important. Because otherwise then it's easy to win. Right? There are millions of people online, based on online metrics. They're not always trustworthy, but generally you can understand that. Millions of people online that know what's going on, right? Millions of people, that understand what's going on, that understand, nationalism versus globalism. We have to defend our country. A lot of bad ideas or ways we're thinking and acting are not from here. We have to defend where we are and who we are from that. Right? And yet, online, you'll get a lot of activity, but it doesn't necessarily lead to the offline information war unless people are nice and polite. It helps. I'm not against online stuff. I do online stuff. I like online stuff. But my particular strength is making sure that polite Canadians can survive the sort of zombie apocalypse and globalist New World Order, satanic pedophile Illuminati, trying to destroy Canadians, and then once you destroy Canadians, you can destroy Canada. Easy, right? Canadians aren't going to defend it. They don't even defend themselves and their own self-respect or anyone else's. So how can they defend their countries? Right? So, it becomes easy to destroy the country. Right? So my specific, goal and role is as a proud, polite, patriotic, stupidly happy Canadian. Proud, polite, patriotic, stupidly happy. Right? And I am stupidly happy. You might think, wow, you sound, no, I'm just serious. Right? Like I can put some balls when I talk, but I'm happy to put my balls into how I talk sometimes. Right? Or I'm happy to be really nice people, because being a nice, polite Canadian puts you in a good mood. Right? It puts you in a good mood. Now, it's been the case for my entire life, and I'm no spring chicken. Being nice, polite Canadian puts you in a good mood. Being a nice, polite Canadian, seeing a nice, polite Canadian makes you stupidly happy. That's why you're stupidly happy people. Right? And ignoring people acting rude puts you in a good mood. Right? That's why Canadians are stupidly happy. A few years ago, 5-10 years ago, in Toronto, on a beautiful, beautiful July summer day in, say, 2009, say 10 years ago today, beautiful summer day, you'd have a bunch of Canadians walking down Queen Street West, and there'd be some rude, sketchy, crazy homeless person who can't get along with other homeless people, because otherwise they'd be hanging out on a nice day. No time to bother people, bother strangers, and get along with people, right? But some rude, sketchy, crazy homeless person would be walking up Queen Street West in Toronto, and all the polite Canadians on Queen Street West, like me, I was there, we'd all just politely move out of the way, look away. They try and force people to see them look sketchy and ugly, and then they just keep moving. They try and force everyone near them to do it, because they can't force people they know, other homeless people, to see it much, and they don't piss them off, and so they go wander around and force strangers to see it. Every Canadian, and there's 5,000 there, near Queen Street West in Spadina, in downtown Toronto, on a beautiful July summer day, just screwing around, everyone just politely ignore them. You just look away, look away. They get a little thrill, power, or they get off being ignored. They don't show or get respect, closest they get, so they're happy with that. Or they didn't bother people too much, not some stupid shit. No one hates them that much. The best they can do, right? Or they get a little, that's it, that's right, yeah, get away with this. And you just look away. You maybe act a little scared, look away. But then right afterwards, you feel happy. Because ignoring people like rude puts you in a good mood. Not your fault. You weren't rude. You weren't bothering people, so you don't feel bad. Yeah, you did the best you could to get out of it quickly, smoothly, keep your self-respect. Don't bother anybody. Don't get mixed up in some stupid stuff. Arguing with someone who doesn't respect you or anyone else and whatever. So you're happy. So all the same Canadians, on Queen Street West, near Spadina, say, for example, I clearly remember this, happening. You just look quickly, smoothly, look away, ignore, forget about it, get back to enjoying a nice day. Are you happy it happened? No. Are you happy you ignored and forgot about it? Yes. Just like any other rude person. Now, if you're stuck in that bullshit with them, this, or you're arguing with them, or you're uncomfortable, they make you uncomfortable, you look at them, that's awful. Then you feel like shit. Right? Someone with nothing to do with bother people, who knows how long they want to bother you, how much they want to bother you, it's just better to ignore and forget about it. Right? And they're fine, they're happy. It's the best they can do, instead of, being uncomfortable with someone or someone not liking them, or you can't do any better than that. Right? So they enjoy it. It's the same with a rude telemarketer. You can ask any polite Canadian, right? All right, if a rude telemarketer calls you, some Nigerian scammer wants to call you on behalf of the Prince of Nigeria and, get your personal banking information, wants you to send them $5,000, in 6 months they'll send you $5 million, and you're like, wait a minute, this is a scam, or whatever, right? Or if they call you during dinner, or they piss you off, or whatever, and they're being rude and pushy, you say, hey, look, take me off your list, never call me again, get a better job. Click, hang up. Are you happy the rude person called you? No. But that's not your fault. It came out of nowhere. Are you happy you politely ignored and forgot about it and got out of it quick? Yes. Right? The best you can do. So that's why I'm a stupidly happy Canadian. And that's why other people were stupidly happy Canadians. Right? Because stupidly happy, a little soft like baby poo, not a lot going on, not a lot of independent media, not a lot of international, involvement, not a lot of war, not a lot of this, not a lot of that. So, soft as baby poo, but stupidly happy. Right? Now when things started getting a little weirder and we had to worry about more stuff, focused on that as well, but still stupidly happy. Right? Because that's how you're happy. That's how you're a happy Canadian, because you're a polite Canadian, world famous for being a polite Canadian, right? And everybody around the world, I think, pretty much the same, right? Even animals don't bother each other unless they have to. Birds near each other, squirrels, one squirrel's there, a bunch. If there's like 5 squirrels in a park, and those squirrels are all relaxing and enjoying their nuts, and one squirrel comes over and they're too squirrely. They're all rabid, foaming at the mouth. I got bit by a rabid dog chasing me. I'm all worked up bothering other squirrels. And those squirrels are like, shit. Now we can't just relax in the park and enjoy our nuts. This is bullshit. So the squirrels got to leave. The squirrels that can get along got to leave. Go somewhere else and enjoy their nuts. You can't just sit there and not enjoy your nuts. Right? They can't enjoy their nuts or let anyone else enjoy their nuts. So you got to go. Right? Even animals don't bother each other unless they have to. Unless they're truly rabid. Unless they're truly insane. Right? Unless they've really been messed with. So when it comes to humans, animals, they don't do that. Even animals that eat each other. You'll have, pictures from like the African jungle or whatever, or plains, Serengeti, whatever. And you'll have a lion and a zebra drinking at the same watering hole. Why? Because who wants to get worked up for no reason? The lion ate earlier, right? Yes, the zebra's alone. It's got stripes that are meant to help it blend in with other zebras. And if it's alone, it's easy to find it. But why? I'm cool. The lion just ate like an hour ago. It's salty. It had some antelope, and now it just wants a drink. The zebra was just running from something or running forward to something or having fun, and it wants a drink. And even animals don't bother each other unless they have to. Right? So when it comes to the offline information war, this is key to the survival of polite Canadians and the country of Canada, and people generally speaking around the world. The same people that could watch, say Professor Jordan Peterson, right? Professor Jordan Peterson, who was not perfect, he's done a lot of things I don't like as well, especially more recently, so I'm not 100% sure about him, but he also has said some amazing stuff that I really loved and that made me a big fan. So he's kind of a tricky one in some ways, but aren't we all, right? It's not about the color of your skin, like Martin Luther said, it's about the content of your character. Are you acting nice? Are you a nice person? Because then the rest can be overlooked, forgiven. Different colors, different genders, different this, different that, doesn't matter. Otherwise can't, right? So it's about the content of your character, not the color of your skin or anything like that, right? But Professor Jordan Peterson is a University of Toronto professor, right? He's a professor at University of Toronto, and here it's 4:23 p.m. on Friday, February 22nd, 2019, right? And we are in Toronto, Canada, right? And so Professor Jordan Peterson teaches. I don't think he's always there, but he teaches at a university that's about a half an hour walk from here. Right? And Professor Jordan Peterson is known worldwide for his millions of fans, especially young men. Especially young men looking for direction, looking for a father figure, a guy that can tell you to clean your room and here's some good life advice, right? And he's got a Kermit the Frog voice, but he puts some balls into it. So like Jay-Z doesn't have a good rap voice. He can make it one by putting some balls into it, whatever, right? He puts some balls into what he's saying and how he's saying it. And, so he's cool, right? So Professor Jordan Peterson is a University of Toronto professor. It means he teaches at the university in this city. He is famous around the world for having millions of fans. Tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of YouTube, video views, right? Hours of content that are being soaked up by people around the world, including here in Toronto, Canada, right? There's a bunch of guys, especially, although girls like them too, if you don't have to hate somebody else doing well, and mess with them or whatever, then you can be happy with people that some people like more and other people, you can be happy with it, right? So, a lot of men like him, some girls obviously like him, whatever, right? And he's a University of Toronto professor that millions of men like. And I would say about maybe half the people in a city like Toronto, right here, have probably heard of him. I'd say maybe a quarter of people, say 25%, are to some degree a fan of what he's doing in some sense, maybe not everything, but, the idea or whatever, or they're aware, right? So maybe even say 10%, 20% of people, right? So 20% of men in Toronto, Canada are fans of University of Toronto professor Jordan Peterson, right? And they go online and they post videos of Jordan Peterson. They'll take clips from his longer videos, they'll post up smaller clips. They'll comment on his YouTube videos, they'll, go here, they'll go to his live talks. They typically don't film the audience in case somebody sees him and gives him shit, for being in the audience, so they typically don't film the people in the audience, but they'll go see him, right? And yet, can these men respect each other enough to talk about it? Or do they just not respect each other, not be able to talk about it, and then go home, get on YouTube, get on the internet, look at their phone, and be like, man, Jordan Peterson's amazing, man, it's great. Yeah, go on YouTube, comment. Yeah, YouTube, comment. Yeah, Jordan Peterson is the man. Or whoever you like. It's anybody. It could be anybody. Right? That's why the offline information war is so important. Because if guys had self-respect and they politely showed and got it, they made sure they were cool and everybody else is cool, then women and kids were like, wait a minute, are we messing with people and making ourselves paranoid? Or are we not? And the guy's like, nope, you're not doing that. The girl's like, okay, great. Okay, so we're not doing that. Fantastic. And they can be nice girls and kids too. Right? If they respected each other, then they could talk about it with each other, and they could get together and they could share his information and other information with other people. Right? If not, then they can just spank to it online. Right? They can just jerk off in the privacy of their own room, maybe not to pornography, but maybe to conspirapornography. Right? It's like Jordan Peterson says this, oh, we need to do this, people need to do this. You're like, oh, yeah. Oh, he's so good. Oh, YouTube comment. Oh. But then what do you do right? Jordan Peterson talks about how the truth is super important. The truth is super important. The ultimate goal is the truth. I know it can be tough to take, but ultimately if you can take that truth, it makes things a lot easier. And if you don't, then things get a lot harder. Because once you agree to go along with lying, then you can never trust what's going on or anybody, right? You'll be like, oh, Jordan Peterson's so good. Oh. And then what do? They walk around and bother people and lie about it. So they can't talk to each other. And they can't share this with anybody else. Right? Otherwise, you could have people here. You could have a bunch of 25, 35, 45-year-old Jordan Peterson fans. They could talk about it with each other. They could be like, man, you know what? We really need to make this clear to some of the young cats out there. Cats, university, high school, whatever. We should just go there. We should, drop off some posters and flyers or have a little presentation, say whatever, right? Or people that are veteran old heads when it comes to being conspiraced, right? Like experienced, but with conspiracies. And conspiracies like, oh, conspiracy, oh, I'm so scared, my mantis knows panties a bunch. It's like, look, conspiracy just means two or more people doing something illegal or immoral in secret. That's all. So if you don't believe in conspiracies, then you can never figure out anything, right? It's like, hey, the police showed up. Hey, there's been a robbery here. Well, the back door is open, the camera's there, two or more people must have done something here. Hey, officers, slow down. That's a conspiracy theory. You think two or more people plan to rob this bank in secret? No, drop it. Forget it, officer. Yeah, it is a conspiracy theory. We're going to charge them in court with conspiracy to rob a bank, and if they actually rob the bank, we'll charge them with that too. But we always charge them with conspiracy. Right? Two or more people getting together to think of doing something illegal or immoral, or plan to do something illegal or immoral. Not something nice, like a surprise birthday party, but illegal or immoral. That's a conspiracy. So, the CIA, after the JFK assassination in 1963, President John F. Kennedy, they came up with the term conspiracy theory to get people to stop asking questions about that. Right? And so every time it's like, well, I think I think Justin Trudeau and Gerald Butts pressured, the Attorney General to take it easy on SNC-Lavalin because, they're a big corporation and they bribed them. Whoa, slow down. That's a big conspiracy. You're saying in secret they decided to do something bad? No. Don't pay attention to that. Yeah, but the newspaper, the Globe and Mail report, the CBC, no, that's a conspiracy. They found a conspiracy. Don't pay attention. It's like, but it was on the CBC. That's a conspiracy theory, right? So you can't do anything. You can't think of anything, right? And if you don't like conspiracy theories from the independent media, then why do you like them from the mainstream media? Right? And I'm not saying they're all right. It's not like everybody's right. It's just that it's a worthy question to ask. Right? It's worthwhile asking that question. And so, that's the key, right? And so that's why they came up with the term conspiracy theory. And my point in saying that is people that know what's going on, right? People that are over the age of, say, 30, right? Don't trust anyone under 30, right? Anybody over the age of 30. They did polls back in 2006, 2005, 6, 7. It was perfectly normal to have a poll to say something like, do you believe the official story of the 9/11 World Trade Center attacks that happened on September 11th, 2001 in New York? 18 years ago, right? 17, 18 years ago. Do you believe they are telling us the truth about that? Not saying they did it, not saying the government or criminals inside the government did it, but just, do you think we're being told the whole truth? Or do you think there's a cover-up of some sort because someone's covering their ass, doesn't want to lose their job, or someone's making money off it, or someone's messing with people, or whatever, right? And opinion polls showed that half of Canadians didn't buy the official story. Depending on the poll, but around there, right? Just like half of Americans, just like a half of people around the world were like, well, no, I think they're on some bullshit, right? And the offline information war used to be very strong in 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9. The offline information war from a liberal perspective. We're liberals, we're anti-war. From a conservative perspective, we're conservative, we're pro-life. From a conspiracious perspective, 9/11 was an inside job, right? Like, it was all the offline information war was popping. Because people could be nice, polite Canadians and other people around the world who could act like ladies and gentlemen, and they weren't trying to bother each other. So it was easy to get the message out there. It was easy to communicate with other people. And then even people who didn't know what was going on, they could hear you and, they could think about it and they could understand and, they could, pass it on. Right? You don't have to be an ass who's talking about politics or whatever all the time, but you don't have to be someone that's completely incapable of it. Right? I mean, it's like, I'm a mess. Lying, bitchy, sketchy, rude, ugly girl mess. And now it is. It's like, hey, something serious. Oh, even more excited by you. Yeah, more we're buying. It's like, never mind. Forget it. Right? So, and I'll give you an example. I was with a group called Toronto Truth Seekers in 2009, right? Me and some other people that were pretty conspiracious, right? And we were concerned about what's going on where we lived. So me and my homeboys, and some homegirls, at TorontoTruthSeekers.com, Toronto Truth Seekers, in 2009, we did what you're supposed to do when it comes to the offline information war. We reacted to what the mainstream media was making it okay for people to talk about with alternative information, right? And that's the offline information war model, which is worth way more than the protest model, right? And I even wrote a song before G20 martial law in 2010 in Toronto called Fuck a Protest, right? Because the song's called, it's the Kanye West beat, whoa, whoa, whoa. And that's why I say, fuck a protest. Fuck you gonna do before this, yeah. That's why I say, fuck a protest. Fuck you gonna do before this, yeah. As long as sun stays shining, I stay grinding, rain check still smiling, right? Because you're active about stuff, right? The protest model is more of a giant bitch session, right? You're making a big mess in public. You're not informed and empowered and informing and empowering people. You're just collectively throwing the big tantrum. You're running in the streets. They can be valuable to show numbers. I'm not saying you should never, ever do it, but that's not the key. The key is the offline information war, right? And protests are a big mess. The protests before 2010 G20 martial law, or during them, I was saying when I had a radio show at the time, don't go, share information with people while they give a shit about the G20 summit and G20 nations, because the TV is telling them they're supposed to, so they're supposed to talk about it and talk about it with each other and slip in what so they can talk about that too and compare it to the bullshit out there that you're all supposed to talk about. Not that you're not supposed to talk about it. The TV says you should talk about it. So, so slip it in there too, right? And and I was saying on my radio show, when the government invites you to a fight with the cops, don't go. It's a trap. It's a setup, right? The government's like, yeah, we're building a big fence, a big wall in the middle of the city. We're bringing 20,000 police here, riot police. They got gear. Now, all you people who don't like this, show up and fight with them. And what happens? People hate the police. They hate the protesters. They hate the principles you're standing on. They hate the cause. They hate the fact it's happened. So what did that do? Right? It's a giant tantrum. Right? Typically. Now, I'm not saying it's never good, but that's not the end-all be-all. Right? So that was in 2010. So compare that to our offline information war efforts in 2009. Right? What happened was there was an H1N1 bird flu or swine flu pandemic scare, right? And the TV started saying, everybody go get bird flu. Everybody go get swine flu. Yeah, we found out this morning. And this afternoon, we're coming out with a vaccine that we made in like 2 hours. We put a bunch of shit in it that we were going to throw away. But now we saved some money, and you better take it. Dying from bird flu is even worse. Right? All freaking out about that. And my colleagues and I know the dangers of vaccines, right? I'm not saying the science behind vaccines, the theory, isn't good, right? Just like you shouldn't keep your kids in a perfectly sterile environment and never let them get dirty, because as soon as they get dirty, they're going to get sick and die, right? So you can build up an immunity. But when it comes to the specific vaccines and MMR, mumps, measles, rubella, and giving 3 diseases, even if they're little bits of disease, 3 diseases and a bunch of other crap in there meant to stimulate your immune system. It's like a punch in the face, stimulates your immune system. Anything that attacks you stimulates your immune system. Giving mumps, measles, and rubella and other shit in the vaccine to an infant 3-month-old baby is going to screw them up. It's not even like, well, I'll give them a bit of mumps and wait 6 months, a year. Hopefully they're cool. They give a bit of rubella. No, it's like, yeah, jam it in there, right? And so there's a bunch of questions around that. And just like a can of soup. You read the can of soup and go, ooh, this is high in potassium. I don't want to put that in my mouth. What about your bloodstream? Right? So what did we do in 2009? My colleagues and I at Toronto Truth Seekers, we got together, about 15, 20 of us, every Saturday for about 3-4 hours, from around 1 p.m., to 4 p.m., 5 p.m. We got together at Dundas Square. We stood on the southwest corner of Dundas Square outside the Eaton Center. We had a little table. We had a bunch of flyers and a bunch of DVDs and posters, and we just stood there. And Dundas Square is the center of Toronto, and it was in the summer of 2009. So there's lots of people that were busy, going here, going there, but polite Canadians, right? Nice. You get the odd whack job who might yell at you, "You guys are crazy. I'm sounding crazy, calling you crazy." While you're all polite Canadians standing there being nice people, nice to you. Freak out on you, run away. Or you get some people arguing with you once in a while. But typically, people either ignore you, or they take a flyer, or they have a conversation with you about this, that, and the other, or they might argue, and we're just cool. We're informed and empowered, polite, patriotic Canadians, We were just chilling, right? And we were dealing with the H1N1, swine flu, bird flu, whatever, pandemic and vaccine scare, right? So we had posters, flyers, DVDs of all shapes and sizes, and we had thousands of vaccine exemption forms. Thousands that we printed out at our own expense. We paid for this, right? We paid for all this stuff at our own expense. And we had a little plastic table, a little bucket of this, and we were all standing around talking to each other or talking to other people nearby, right? It was great, right? We were there, and then we had thousands of parents coming from all across the greater Toronto area, right? Coming from Mississauga, right? Coming from, Scarborough, from Burlington, from Brampton, from Markham, coming downtown, to see us, because they'd say that, right? Not all of them. Some people just have to be around, whatever. Some people don't give a shit. Who cares? We don't bother them either. Nothing. But we had parents coming up to us. Hey, are you the guys with the vaccines, the exemption forms? Are you the guys? Yeah. Oh, can I have two, please? I have two kids. Yeah, sure. Here you go. And it's like, by the way, here's a little flyer. It's got vran.org. You can download the PDF yourself, right? Like, it's not like a big deal. Like, we gave away thousands of vaccine exemption forms as parents were like, oh shit, you're scaring us with this, but it hasn't really popped off yet. You're scaring us with the vaccine. Oh shit. We got to send our kids to school. Oh shit. And so we gave them vaccine exemption forms, right? And that's an example of the offline information war working well, right? A positive, polite, patriotic, consistent presence in Toronto, Canada, every Saturday for 3 or 4 hours at Dundas Square with between 15 and 20 people there, right? And so we'd be there for 3-4 hours chilling. We all feel good because we're happy, right? We might be weird, but we're nice and we're trying to do the right thing. And we've got balls and eggs, so we're happy. And we're nice to each other. We're nice people are nice to us, or we just have self-respect. So we're happy, right? We don't feel like we're useless and annoying. We feel like we're useful and special and helping, or at least not bothering anybody. So we're happy, right? So we'd hang out there for 3 or 4 hours, and then we'd go to Fran's after that. And at Fran's, we'd sit down and we'd eat. That was our Saturday. And we did that pretty much for the whole summer of 2009, right? And we were so good at this offline information war. And this is the key, right? Online is one thing. The offline information war makes it easier for the independent media and even mainstream media to cover you, and even politicians to react to what you're doing, right? So, I'll give you an example. The CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, is Canada's, federally funded state broadcaster, right? Often carefully boring Canadians. We are the CBC, carefully boring Canadians. That's what we do. We don't try and push it. We don't try and whatever. We're beholden to the government for $1 billion a year or whatever. So we're carefully boring Canadians, right? And the CBC does some good stuff. They can't do no good stuff because you'd never watch them. But there's a lot of crap in there to brainwash you too, right? And so, and the good stuff, makes it easier for them to sell crap to brainwash you, right? So, but there was there are good people that work in the media. They try and do a good job. They try and do the best job they can working there. But just like a lawyer knows they can't wear track pants to court, people in the media know what they can and cannot say, right? They know that. So, how do you make it easier for them? You make it easier for them by making it so that they're not talking about the issue, they're talking about people. These people are concerned about this, and those people don't mind, so we're covering it. That's what the CBC did. So, and that's broadly speaking. Specifically, the CBC called our colleague Dan Dix at pressfortruth.ca. He's got a media organization that was affiliated with Toronto Truth Seekers, a number of Toronto Truth Seekers, but he's got his own thing going, right? And so media to media, as opposed to media to activist, the CBC, a CBC producer, got in touch with our buddy Dan Dix, who was part of our Toronto Truth Seekers crew and also filming a lot of it, and said, hey, Dan Dix, Press for Truth, I'm a CBC producer. We noticed you successfully being on the streets of Toronto for hours every Saturday, dealing with this H1N1 thing and vaccines that's in the news right now, so it's topical and whatever. And we notice that you seem to be doing a decent job according to all the people around that either let you do it or that interact with you while you're doing it. So we at the CBC are not taking a stance on vaccines good, vaccines bad, H1N1 pandemic scare, we need to worry about it. Or no, we don't. Bunch of bullshit, just scaring us to sell vaccines. No, they're not taking a stance on that. What they are taking a stance on is covering other Canadians doing a good job as certified by other Canadians. That's what the CBC was covering. So the offline InfoWar can make it easier for even the mainstream media to cover you. Not just online. Online's different. Online's this, online's that, but offline, right? So they called Dan, and Dan said, sure, no, they wouldn't mind. So Dan got in touch with us, me and Mark Savory, my buddy, and others, right? We were two of the leaders of the group, and everyone else has leadership roles in this situation. And so BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com for your reference, and then of Toronto Truth Seekers. And Dan called us and was like, hey, CBC's covering us, is it okay? And I was like, of course, right, we're nice, polite, patriotic Canadians, right? And so then we had to have an internal discussion at Toronto Truth Seekers about what to do, right? And a lot of people that are fans of the independent media or alternative media, whatever, crap on the mainstream media, right? And it's a bit more complicated than that. It's not just all good, all bad, all good people in independent media, all bad in mainstream media. It's not just screw them. Anytime you see one, spit on them, yell at them, blah, 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 CNN, fake news, you suck, or whatever. It's not that black and white. The mainstream media often does good work. They've got the resources, they've got the expertise with professional journalists, they've got the name to get access, interviews, money, documents, Freedom of Information Act requests, right? So they can do some good work, and the alternative and independent media often uses the best of the mainstream media to share with everybody else. You'll even have Alex Jones at Infowars.com screaming, it was the New York Times! The New York Times! They said they were spying on Trump. They said they were surveilling Trump during the campaign. And now they're saying they didn't because they're going to get in trouble. But it was right there in the New York Times! Right? It's rare mainstream news that's reported but not repeated like propaganda everywhere. So it's more likely to be true, not always, but more likely to be. And a lot of times the mainstream news forgets what they reported before. It's like, no, you said this before. No, we didn't. This is our new story. We're sticking to it. And we're making everyone stick to it. And everyone who heard about that before, they're going to forget. This is the new way you look at that. Right? So that's what they'll do. But a lot of independent media uses rare news that's reported but not repeated to make their point. Right? And so the media is not all bad. And plus, if they are reaching out and trying to do a good job, then the best you can do is try to help them do a good job, because it helps with the overall information war, online and offline, right? They're not going to do anything you want or everything you say. They're not going to suddenly show up and say, yes, we're here from the CBC or Toronto Star or Globe and Mail or the New York Times, and we want you and your crazy ideas to take up half the paper. They don't do that. But if they are interested and they seem genuine, then they reach out a bit and you reach out a bit. And as I said to my colleagues, I worked in the media. I had a radio show at the time, in Toronto. And so I was talking to my colleagues, and I was like, look, guys, I know we all have problems with the mainstream media. That's partly why we do this. But if they're nice enough to do this, let's work with them. Let's work with them to make sure we can give them something that they can use, right? They're not going to do a great job. They're not going to say exactly what we want. They're not going to be whatever. They're not going to be us. But we can have them work with us and at least try and, to the best degree they can, fairly cover us, and we'll come out looking good no matter what. Right? So, here's what happened. Right? And so I talked to my group about this. And so I said, here's what we're going to do. right? And you guys can argue, we can disagree. I'm not a dictator. We're all leaders in this. We're all independent thinkers that are putting it out there. But let's talk about the best ideas to deal with this specific situation of CBC News sending a producer to come cover us at Toronto Truth Seekers on Saturday at Dundas Square, right? So, they're coming to cover us. What are they interested in? They are interested in covering us because of our response to the H1N1 bird flu, swine flu pandemic and vaccine scare, and our ability to relate with people on that issue that's currently topical and worth discussing from a number of angles. So I said, we're only going to have that information at our table, and we're only going to talk about that stuff while they're here. And I said, guys, I'm not going to stop you from talking about whatever else you want with anybody else any other time, but just because of the CBC, and because this is still important, and still an issue people care about, we'll still be honest about it, but we're not going to get into everything else. You know, we're not going to get into, hey, are you Illuminati? Are you a Freemason? Have you heard about this? Do you think we landed on the moon? Why didn't we go back? Huh? We only went once in the 60s? No. Drop it. Stop. They're just going to leave. Right? They're like, we didn't come here for this. We bring it to our producer. They're going to say, it's all crap. Those people are crazy. Right? But we didn't do that. Right? We were like, hey, you want to work with us on this? We want to work with you on this. And we're trying to help other people where we live on this. So, when the CBC showed up, we had vaccine exemption forms, vaccine DVDs, vaccine flyers, vaccine signs, mainly, on our table and Toronto Truth Seekers. But the rest of the stuff that was there, we didn't put out just so that they could cover us. They could use the footage, they could focus on one issue, and we could be covered for that, right? So we didn't try and mess with them, right? And the CBC News sent two people. They sent a reporter and a cameraman. The reporter was a skinny Greek girl, Iona Remiliotis or something. She's got sharp features, dark hair. She's still on the CBC as far as I know. I don't watch that much, but Ileona Remiliotis or something, I forget her name. And her cameraman. And to her credit and their credit, they spent 2 hours with us. The CBC News came and covered us for 2 hours, hour and a half to 2 hours, around there, right? And for the first, hour or so, they mostly covered other people when it comes to the offline information war. CBC mostly covered other people, right? They're like, well, these people are here with a table and, info and DVDs and vaccine exemption forms. What do you think, right? Like, well, I don't mind. What do you think about vaccines? Oh, I'm not so sure. What do you think? Oh, I think it's good. I think it's bad. What do you think about H1N1? So for the first hour or so, the CBC interviewed mostly people in the area, right? The cameraman and Iona Remiliotis, and they still covered us. There were shots of us in the background, whatever. They did some B-roll, right? And they interacted with us a little bit, like we were cool, and we just kept doing what we were doing while they were there, right? So they made sure that we were cool, and they made sure that other people around were cool and were cool with us. And then finally, for the last half an hour, they started talking to us, right? And they had little conversations here, little conversations there. And then they did an interview with me as, one of the more articulate leaders of the group. And they interviewed me for 10 minutes, right? And Iona Remiliotis or whatever, and the cameraman, to her credit, she did a tough interview, but a fair interview. And it was a tough interview, right? But it was fair, and I didn't mind at all. I handled it, perfectly well. You can see the whole thing, right, online. Dan Dix and Steve Davies and Brian Law from pressfortruth.ca. While the CBC was filming us, we were filming them. So we covered the whole thing. And there's a video online, 2-part video, about 20 minutes in total or 25 minutes in total, called "The Shot is the Pandemic," CBC and the Swine Flu, or something like that, right, from pressfortruth.ca. And you can see the highlights of all this. And so she interviewed me for like 10 minutes and asked me some tough questions about this. And I answered, and I tried to be a polite, patriotic Canadian gentleman with her. And they were happy, right? And they left, shook hands, and they left, right? Then it went back to the producers, and they said we're going to be on the National, which is CBC's, nightly show. There's 4 rebroadcasts of the National. About half the show or 3/4 of the show is the same, depending on what's happening that day, and the other is updated every hour. 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., 10 p.m. to 11 p.m., 11 p.m. to 12 p.m., 12 p.m. to 1 a.m. They have 1-hour episodes of The National. They're each separate shows, but a lot of the content is the same for people who like to watch at different times, plus some new stuff might come up, right? So our group, whatever story they came up with, we weren't responsible for any of that. But our group was supposed to be on CBC's The National that night, that day, right? So a bunch of us watched, whatever, and then some of us didn't see it, some of us did, and then Dan got in contact with the producer and said, what happened? And the producer said, well, there was a little bit of pushback from above, but you weren't on nationally, but you were on 6 regional broadcasts of The National. So a regional broadcast in Central Ontario, a regional broadcast, Eastern Canada, Western Canada, whatever, you were on 6 regional broadcasts of The National, right? So they confirmed that. So I was like, okay, fine. There was some pushback from above a little bit, whatever. And then when it comes to the actual story they did, after spending all that time with us or whatever, the story was about 2.5 minutes, right? And they covered the issue in general from a bunch of different angles. They had, Toronto public health people, you need to get this, whatever. And then our part of the 2.5 minute story was about 30 seconds of the 2.5 minute story. And my 10-minute interview was reduced to, we believe Canadians should be informed. And that was the chunk they used. But that was still a success. It was a success all around. And it was made possible by the offline information war. Not just online, but offline. Right? So you might think, that's a sad story. No, it's a good story. They covered us. That's worth saying. Everybody knows it, likes it. We covered them covering us. So we got like a better look at what they were doing and how things went. And they did their best to try and cover us, not because of the issue, but because of the people. Just like when I started this offline information war thing, talking about how they got the fluoride out of Calgary's water supply. Same thing, right? People made a stink, other people were cool with it, offline especially, and then the media got involved because it was more serious or whatever, and people were cool, and then you got stuff done. Right? And then eventually it made its way up to more media coverage, and then city council members, taking a stand with all that support, and then, boom, get the fluoride out of Calgary's water supply, bad for you, known for 100 years. It started off the environmental movement. It was used as roach and rat poison, so they just bribed some dental association to, say in the 50s, to put a little bit in there. Instead of us, it costs a shitload to throw it out. It's so toxic, it's dangerous. So it costs us a shitload of money to throw it out. So we just put a little water supply. That's better, and say it's good for people, right? So Calgary agitated about that, got it out online and offline, till the media and city council said, all right, we're convinced and whatever, and we're out of here, right? And that's the offline information war, right? And it starts off with nice, polite Canadian ladies and gents, look, walk, talk, and feel great, teach kids to, and make it easy to communicate offline about online information, right? So that's why it's so important for patriots out there. That's why polite patriotism can help expand the Overton window where you live and save your country. Because otherwise, you can't, right? Online info might make you more agitated. And you might be more agitated than your other people, and then that's all you can do. But that's not gonna work. Okay? So anyway, just some thoughts on the offline information war. Relative to what's going on today. You can see why it's so important, because otherwise that's why people can't do anything, right? Online you can vent, you can bitch to nobody and everybody and get it out of your system, right? Some people can do more things than others, right? And there's more done. I'm not against online entirely, but offline is the key, because otherwise offline, what can all these smart people do except for act stupid, right? There are a bunch of smart people. There's a bunch of smart people in Toronto, Canada. It's, it's exactly 5 p.m. on Friday, February 22nd, 2019. BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com here in downtown Toronto, Canada, in the Bay Street Financial District on a Friday evening, when everyone in the Bay Street Financial District should be happy to get off work, right? It should be nice, polite Canadians. But if even the smartest people in the country act stupid and make it hard to talk, then what can anyone else do? That's the offline information board. That's why it's so important. Right? That's why I wanted, that's why I created Canadian Fight Club, accidentally just moving away from things getting stupid, and then, polite like Ed Norton at Tim Hortons, and then sometimes talking crazy shit like Brad Pitt. Everyone can do the same. You just have to find a way to do it. The two halves of you is big badass balls, you Canadian. Shit going on here, got to deal with it. And then what? I can be nice if you're nice. Deal. Nice people, nice to you. And that's it. That's cool. Right? So, and that's what's happening. And all the guys who a few years ago, because as it gets worse and worse, things get worse and worse, right? But a few years ago, you used to get some guys, giving you a dead straight on look, just like in the Fight Club movie, where some guys who were in Fight Club would just look at Ed Norton and, hey, how's it going? I know, eh? Yeah. People would see this, before, when it was only, 10% of guys sexually harassing each other and jealousy harassing girls, or 20-30% of guys sexually harassing each other, jealousy harassing girls. Then the girls broke, and then 50-60% of people just worked up bothering each other the same way, and then 80-90%, then 95, then 99%. During that time, when it was, like half the people or whatever, you get some guys, guys, cops, security, whatever, they'd know. They're like, yeah, see that person worked up bothering people? That sucks. Yeah, I know. Oh man, more of it's worse than less. And they'd look at you and they'd be like, yep, give you a straight up look. Yep. No. You give them a straight up look back. Yep. Shit's going on. I know, eh? Right? But then they keep broke each other, so now they can't do that. Right? So now it's just there. Right? So, but before, that's what was happening. Walk around, this is bullshit. You guys shouldn't, buddy, you want to kick my ass because I don't want to look at your ass? Let's fucking do this. Huh? Is that what you want to kill someone or die for, you stupid motherfucker? Right? The guy's like, hey, where is she? No, I'm there, run away. Right? Some other guy look at you like, yep, this is some bad shit. Yep, sure is. Back in the day. Some people can still be nice to each other. Right? So you just keep moving away. And you get that down. When it comes to how people feel or whatever, you get that down, you get that done. When it comes to what to do, you get that down, you get that done, and you're done. Right? If in small groups of people, right, there are sometimes, maybe not now, maybe it's tougher and tougher now as people keep bullying each other into acting sketchy. But before, in small groups of people, and even to this day, sometimes, there's still times where nobody gets worked up and forced you to see look ugly. Right? You got a bunch of people there. Hey, nice play, Canadians. Hey. Yeah, I know, eh? Wipe my nose. Hey, I know, eh? Hey, yeah. And they're like, shit, here we go. Shit. Now you don't respect me, I don't respect you, we don't respect each other because of what we're saying or what we're doing, what we're saying. Shit. This got all fucked up. You can't do anything after that, right? They they're uncomfortable. They want you to, whatever. They want you to do it so that it's not so bad. And then you do it to each other. You don't like each other, and then you go bother strangers. It's like shit, right? Otherwise, it's fine. I've been around where people just whoa, you're not gonna get worked up. Force me to look ugly, do something sketchy, quick. Got you. Just put up with it. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. Shove something in your mouth. I can't talk anymore. Shove something in your mouth. Let me shove something in your mouth. That's what I do now. Instead of talking, make people too uncomfortable to talk to me. Look at it. Say, no, it's got you. Right? That's like, shit. It's over. Shit. And that's what happens. As soon as it happens, it's over. Hey, how's it going? Hey, good. Hey, force me to go. It's over. They don't respect you. You can't respect them. You won't have any self-respect if you respect them because you have to just be a mess with them, to them, or not do much. You just can't do anything. So then it's over. It's done. Right? So, but there are still Canadians out there. There's Canadians hiding inside zombies, whatever, that don't have to get worked up and force you to see them look ugly. Pretend ugly, sketchy girlfriend, doesn't care what you're doing, makes you put up with them, busts your balls till they're gone, or scrambles your eggs till they're gone, makes you some piece of shit for someone else to put up with, on to the next one. Their job is done. right? Because of that, that makes it hard. You see? So that's what happens. And then that's where you get the mass zombification of people. Now, if polite Canadians can get together, just like back in the day, back in 2009, right, 2008, 2009, where it was like, well, people have trouble talking about this, right? You talk about this, they'll feel uncomfortable, they won't be able to handle it, the rest of us think it sucks, but, whatever. So we'll get together and we'll talk about this. Now it's people can't even talk. And so we need to get together and be able to talk and then talk about this, right? So if some polite Canadians or whoever, wherever, can get together privately, respect each other more than normal, not force anyone to put up with anyone, not worry about what you do, hey, sketchy, we'll put you out, then worry about what you say, and then you can't do anything else except for make people put up with you, not that. If they get together privately and they can talk to each other like they respect each other, then they can discuss these things. Right? It's not just, you're bothering me with what you do, so you're probably bothering me with what you say, so you've got to be super duper careful about it. It's like, no, you're super duper careful to not bother people with what you do, then you have to be careful with bothering people with what you say. It's not that big a deal. Obviously, you should still be a little careful. You don't have to be super careful. Just whatever. It's, it doesn't matter. As long as you're not trying to bother people with what you do, then it doesn't matter, because you're given the benefit of the doubt when it comes to what you say. Right? If I'm like, hey, force you to see me look ugly, yeah, put up with me, put up with me. And it's like, hey, you know what? You should take a look at this VRAN.org vaccine exemption site and some of the things they put in them, like dead fetal tissue and other crap. And since you and your wife are having a baby, you should take a look at this. If you're straight up and cool with each other, you can give it to them and you guys can be cool. If you're not, then it's another way to bother people. Oh, you're a weirdo, aren't you? Oh, you're trying to make me uncomfortable? Oh, you don't like me? Oh, screw you. But if you're nice to each other, then all that stuff is fine. Hey, you should eat more tomatoes. They've got lycopene. It'll help keep you from getting cancer. Oh, are you bringing up cancer because you're bothering me? Oh, are you trying to make me feel bad? Oh, no. Once we're nice to each other, then it's no big deal. Grab a V8. Have a great day. Who cares? So that's why the offline information war is so crucially important. Because online, there's also a lot more censorship, self-censorship, whatever, government censorship, there's a lot more whatever. They're encouraging people, look, you're either part of the group that gets censored and kicked off the internet and shit on and ignored and laughed at, or you're a zombie. We all look, walk, talk, think the same, feel the same, do the same thing. Don't lose your Twitter account. You know what happens when the terrorists blow something up? You say not all Muslims are terrorists. You say my thoughts and prayers are with the victims. You tweet it. You leave it at that. Like, okay. Not all Muslims are terrorists. My thoughts and prayers are with the victims. Good. Now, you and everybody do that. Don't you start any shit when it comes to false flag terrorism, or maybe we should worry about this, or can we have a more nuanced discussion about it? Okay, up. And so that's it. And that's how all your family and friends start to look, walk, talk, and act the same. And everybody starts to think this, and everybody starts to do this, and then people get sick of it. Right? Because they're not able to express themselves uniquely as individuals, or comfortably in groups, or they're not allowed to be comfortable in their own skin. Right? That's what social constipation, political correctness, identity politics. Oh, you're this color, you're that race, you're this gender, you're that, you're this. This is what you can say, this is what you can do. It's like, no, I'm an individual. I'm part of those things too. It's great, fine, but also an individual, right? No, it's like nope, can't do that. That's part of that brainwashing, part of that identity politics brainwashing. That's how you make everybody the same, right? You might think, as I put in another video, and I showed it, you can see it. You don't have to just listen to me. You can see it. It's other people talking about what's going on in Canada. But the title of my video was "World Warning: Canada's multicultural diversity leads to monocultural zombiosis." Canada's multicultural diversity leads to monocultural zombiosis, right? It's not like it's all good or bad. The way we're doing it leads to that, right? And you can see people. They're all different shapes and sizes and colors and backgrounds, especially in a city like Toronto. But they're all the same. They're all the exact same. Right? That's what happens. Before it wasn't like that. Before in Toronto it wasn't like that. There's people different. They were all the same in the sense of being nice, polite Canadians who you don't worry about what they do, you don't worry what they say, and they all acted polite, like nice, polite ladies and gentlemen, right? No social constipation, trouble talking, PC, diversity, identity politics, all messed up. No gender neutralization, whatever. I'm free to do whatever I want to anybody I want. Yeah, put up with it. Yeah. Okay, now I can't do anything else. So I was making people put up with me. So hard to do anything else. Okay, yeah. It wasn't that. Right? It wasn't guys, I am a woman. I'm jealous of real ones. And these idiot guys won't treat me like one. Bother them all till they don't like me. I jealously bother the girls and treat these idiot guys and look at me like one. It wasn't that. Right? It was 98% of people straight, great at it. 1.5, 2% gay, great at being polite Canadians, and 0.1% trans or whatever. Hey, I know what to do. I'm going to do all this shit. I'm not going to do it badly. I do it badly. I'm going to go to all that trouble. I'm going to do it well. Forget it. Right? Not just, but part of the destruction of the offline information war is, again, 2007, 8, 9, anti-war movement, get out of Iraq, and then Obama came in and the Democrats were like, yeah, who do you want to bomb, Obama? He's so cool, he likes basketball. Yeah. Well, I launched a drone attack on Pakistan and killed a wedding party. Might be a terrorist in there or two. But either way, none of them will come, eh? Hey, high five, Obama, liberal. Yeah, pro-war. And the people are like, yes, Obama, we like war now. Last week when Bush was there, war was really, but now we like it. We like it, yeah. So that hurt, right? From Bush to Obama, that killed a lot of the offline information war. And then, of course, since then, the sort of malaise, the Obama malaise, and then other factors kicking in, right? Because before 2007, 8, 9, 10, it was crap people on the streets. Oh, no war. On the streets, hey, pro-life or pro-this. Or on the streets, hey, not an inside job. And people don't mind. But that's what happened. You see? Anybody that can act like a human was attacked by a zombie and made into a zombie. Zombies want brains. They want the brains, just like zombies in the movies, Walking Dead, TV show, World War Z or whatever. Zombies want brains, right? I don't have a brain. Ugly mess. Everyone near me is scared and bothered. Unless they're another zombie, they're just a zombie with other zombies. But as soon as you see a human with brains, the brains to act like a human, walk like a human, talk like a human, mind their business, be nice, relax and look, walk, talk, and feel great. Be nice to people, nice to them. Act like a polite gentleman or a nice, polite lady. Confident, masculine strength. Oh, that guy's cool. Confident, feminine body. Oh, that girl's attractive. Zombie attack. Zombie want brains. Zombie make another zombie. And they freak out and they attack you and they make another zombie. Right? And that's what happens. As soon as you do that, right? I know, I've been nice to people. To this day, people are nice, right? And as soon as you're nice to someone, they're nice to you. Somebody nearby is like, zombie whopper, zombie. Fuck you both. Put up with me. You see the way you looked at that person being nice to you? Yeah. Look at me like that. Why? First you look ugly. That's what they do. Right? So that kills the offline information war. Because that's what they do. They look for people that are less zombie, and they attack them and make them zombie. More zombie. Right? So all the nice, polite Canadians, all the big, strong, badass, hockey-playing white boys and others, yep, big, badass Canadian man. Proud of it. He's dead. Why? It's worth killing. All the nice girls, all the nice, attractive. Oh, my goodness, I'm settled in at Deloitte & Touche. I'm a super highly paid consultant, making $150,000 a year. I've got $300 shoes, and I've got to be, hey, you're really worth bothering, bitch. We're going to make another zombie. Now she's walk around and bother people. Like, what do you do with those $300 shoes? I run at people and force them to see you look ugly and run away. You don't walk slow, look cool, try to feel hot? I tried, but I got attacked by a zombie. And it turned me into a zombie. So now it's just a zombie. Right? That's what happens. That's how the zombie apocalypse beats the offline information war. Right? And that's why it's so important. And when it comes to this, again, if polite Canadians or polite people wherever can get together and do stuff for where they live, promote be nice, as well as get bad guys, then you can get everybody with the be nice, and you make it easy to get bad guys because people are nice enough to talk. Otherwise, it's not easy to be nice, and it's not easy to talk. And then, say here in 2019, we've got a Canadian election coming up, federal election. Our miserable, weak-lying, bitchy man, Prime Minister, is a globalist sellout. He's working for super rich people and the UN global government, signing us up to UN agreements. Yeah, Canada could have 100 million people. In fact, just bring 100 million people randomly from Africa, put them in Canada. These people here, they have enough money to pay for it. They won't then. And it'll be the same place. Right? It's like, no, it wouldn't be the same place from anywhere. Right? Like, we have a certain demographic, and we want to comfortably grow that. It's like, don't be racist. You hate Africans? No, fine. Let in 100 million. Right? How about Muslims? You hate Muslims? No. Let in 100 million. How about Chinese? There's a billion Chinese. I don't hate Chinese. My buddy Dave's Chinese. He's Canadian. He's a Chinese background. Yeah, great. See? So let in 100 million Chinese. Let in 100 million Muslims, 100 million Africans, and 100 million Chinese. Or you're racist. It's like, okay. But you can't talk about it. If you can't talk about it, zombie attacks you and make sure you can't. You're just more worth bothering and trying to turn to another zombie. Right? That's what happens to other Canadians. Right? If you do anything but act like a zombie, you're just more likely to be bothered by a zombie. And if you are more capable as a human, if you are more nice and polite, mind your own business, more not worked up bothering people, more nice to people, nice to you, more confident masculine strength. Yeah, I'm good at being a guy, I'm cool, don't worry about it. Make sure other people are cool too. More good at being a girl. Yes, I'm a graceful adult, I'm confident, I'm attractive, I'm feminine. You're more worth bothering by a zombie. Zombie wants brains, zombie make it a zombie. Right? So that's what kills the offline information war. This is why nobody can do anything except for that. You still have to do other stuff, obviously. We're in a functioning country, but it's always kind of hard. That's why you see so many people just running around bothering strangers. Because when you have to be near people, it's a little more uncomfortable, right? If I'm like, I'm not looking away while doing it, right? Like if I look away, while I wipe my nose, right? If I'm like talking to you, I look away, excuse me, right? That's different. If I'm like, force you to see it, you're like, ugh, right? So it's harder to get along with people if you force people to see it, right? And that's what leads to the zombification of people, right? And so the offline information war is to beat that, right? You could just be like online this, online that. Yeah, they're censoring it, this and that, and it's good, and I like it. But what about offline? right? What are you supposed to do with desperate zombies, desperate to make another zombie out of anybody that's a human, instead of being nice, proud, polite, patriotic people who can communicate well and defend where they live? So this is also partly why I created Canadian Fight Club, because the gender thing is so important, right? If you're straight, if you're 98% of people who are straight, right? You might think it's way less than that. I'm like, I'm not supposed to be, right? Not like people are happy. Some people are happy. 2% of people are happy, being gay or LGBT, whatever. But it's rare, right? But if you're 98% of people who are straight and you're great at it, right? Then you can set the standards for everybody else where you live. Right now, the opposite is happening. They say if you're straight, don't take it seriously. Don't take gender seriously. No man, no woman, no being good at being a man, no being good at being a woman, no sirs, always the way. Guys show they respect each other. Even to this day, it still happens. I'll hear somebody, like I'm listening to an NBA podcast randomly. They're not into any of this crap. But somebody's like, gives a long explanation, blah, 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 long explanation. And say, oh, I hope you don't mind. I just wanted to explain everything. Oh, no problem, sir. It's great to have you on the podcast. Just throw it in there. Just to make sure the guy knows we're cool. Gone. Or with a girl, hey, honey, or good morning, honey. How are you? Honey, hey, you can be nice to me, Gone. Don't do that. Don't say that. Don't say that. No sirs, no ma'ams, no honey, no men do this, women do this. No. Drop it. Don't take it seriously. Don't. It's wrong. Someone else will be upset. Whatever. Hey, you're all free now. You have a little baby? Dress him in a little gray bag. Put him in a little gray bag, like a little pet rock. Don't tell that baby to be good at being a boy or a girl. Just let him grow up happy to choose. It's like, what? Man, my kid will eat a crayon if I let him. Man, you stupid? I'm going to teach him how you could be good at being a boy or a girl. And then when they grow up and they get older and they get 18 or whatever, they can do whatever they want. But can't do that. Right? And if you try, you just be attacked by a zombie. You make sure you can't. Right? So, if you're straight, you can't be good at it. And if you're trans or whatever, if you decide to switch, then we have to accept anything. Anything. Anything you do is fine. Right? If you're like, wow, Caitlyn Jenner is so beautiful. Hey, thanks. I'm Caitlyn Jenner. I'm so beautiful. I feel like a butterfly coming out of their cocoon. Yes, Caitlyn Jenner is the most beautiful woman. She's a woman of the year. Man, she's been a woman for 3 weeks. How's she woman of the year? She just has so much courage. 3 weeks ago, she changed to being a woman. She's woman of the year. It's like, what? But you have to think that's great. Right? Or, so if you're, then you have to accept that. Right? Or you have to let them get away with being a mess, right? That's the two-part thing. One is, you're beautiful, or two is, it's okay if you're a mess, right? I know here in Toronto, Canada, I heard a horrible story, horrifying story of a giant, big, fat, bitchy, bully, transgender woman, I guess, man, but really shitty. So shitty a woman doesn't deserve it, just really shitty at it. But actually a transgender, identifies as a transgender, and they're a teacher of little kids at a school. And they're brutal. They're abusive. They abuse the other staff. They yell at the kids. They're shitty being adult for other adults, shitty being adult for kids, shitty being a guy for other guys, jealous of girls. You know what a big ugly bitch is, right? If you have a big ugly bitch in the office, it's like, oh, that's a big ugly bitch. That's what the guy is. He's a big ugly bitch, right? Hates guys because guys don't think he looks good. Jealous of girls, hates girls not good, right? And because they're a big transgender bitchy bully, they can just get away with it. People say, well, they're a protected class. It's like, can they really scream at, other teachers there, the few males that work in this type of environment, the women that work in this environment, and the little children that work there? Can they really just scream their head off and have some sort of hormonal temper tantrum? It's like, yeah. And even they will say to one of the girls after they lose their shit, you know how us girls are. Oh my goodness, we get so emotional. Right? Horrible. Horrifying. right? Screwing up men, women, and children who work there. Horrible, just horrifying. My buddy told me this because he's got somebody he knows that works there, and this was passed on to him. And I was like, this is scary. This is horrible, terrifying. But that's the new norm. See? That's the new normal. Everybody's supposed to be a lying, bitchy, sketchy, tranny, commie, zombie, bully. Not because, the globalists, satanic, pedophile, Illuminati, New World Order, super rich people, and mainstream, you can just say, oh, it's super rich people. They go to Davos, they believe in the UN, International Criminal Court, World Bank, international trade deals that take away all the power away from your country and your politicians, and say, nope, this trade deal said this. This 8,000-page, 80-pound trade deal says that, this Chinese company owns Canadian trees for the next 50 years. That's the deal. What is it? Well, we got some stuff too. Anyway, don't worry about it. It's all in there. You don't understand. Forget it. Right? That's globalism. And that's how the super rich people take more and more control over the world. Right? They're not doing this. They're not promoting the trans thing because they super give a shit about 0.01% of people. It's because they don't give a shit about anybody. That's why. It's not because they're like, no, these people need it. These people, you bend over backwards for them. You do this, you do that. It's like, no way. If most people are nice, polite Canadian ladies and gentlemen, then those people will fit in or fuck off. It's never been a problem before. Either you're good at being a man or a woman, good at being a nice, polite Canadian human with other humans, or you're not. If you're good, great. Party on, dude. Or dudette. Or whatever you are now. If you're not, fuck off. This is how we roll. If Canadians aren't polite, they can't talk. They won't argue with you necessarily. I might once in a while as a radical conservative Canadian, but typically, no. They just move away from you. And when they move away from you because you're not polite, you move closer to them and force them to see you look ugly. They just move away. It's like at a party. This sketchy person at a party. No, just go over here. I've got to go. I've got to go catch up with a buddy of mine. And this person's weirdo at the party. And then they show up near you and they start acting weird again. You just move over here and they show up weird. Right? So that's the difference. And that's why. And it's not against, those people, although I'm not, it's all about individuals. It's not like anything you do is fine. That's the brainwashing. Guy, nothing to say, nothing to do except for bother you. You know how it is. Yep, just kind of a rude, ugly girl. Just check me out, all messed up and stuff. Yeah, put up with it. You know how it is. Can't say or do anything. Don't show or get any respect. You know how it is. Just put up with me. So you can just do anything, right? Or girls can just show up. You, just a messed up, miserable bitch. It's like, what's the problem? Don't say anything. How dare you? Embarrassed. Well, fine, just sit there and rip my nuts off like I'm a grown-ass man that can't do or say shit to help anybody. No, fuck it. Right? But that's why it's promoted so much. Right? That's why. It's to screw up 99.9% of people, not help 0.01% of people. You hardly ever see it. First of all, if they're any good at it, you just don't notice, or barely notice. I think something's a little off, but just like with everybody, if something's a little off, as long as you don't bother anybody, then people eventually don't care, and they can be nice to you. You can be nice to them, right? I got toque low, sunglasses on, I'm holding this up to avoid that person forcing me to seem look ugly, holding this up to avoid that person forcing me to seem look ugly, and people are still nice, as long as I'm nice. So it doesn't matter. It's all about that. It's not about the, who are you, what's this, oh, we got to put up with you. No, it's not about that. It's about being nice. Right? That's the key. And I've been to gay pride stuff, the last few years, everyone's acting crazy, so it's hard to go anywhere. But I was going to gay pride stuff, a gay pride party for, 20 years or so on and off with different groups of friends in Toronto or whatever. It was all polite Canadians. They just get freaky in terms of like showing off there, but they're not trying to bother anybody. When it was all polite Canadians. You know, we might get the odd whack job. You know, but again, they're nice or they're an asshole, right? Made on by a nice polite gay guy, and I don't care. It's flattered. You know, don't get into it much and say, no, it's cool, I'm straight, but I appreciate a compliment, and go hang out with your hot homo homies. All right, cool. Gives me a polite guy nod, smile. Smiles at me extra gay from over there. Smile, I'm extra straight, shrug my shoulders. I'm like, okay, cool. Give him a little guy nod. Yeah, just not my thing. So, whatever. Go hang out over there. Other creepy, ugly old man tries rubbing my neck at a party, and I'm muscly in a tank top, and I tell him fuck off, and I yell at him. There's 100 gay guys there. You want this motherfucker touching you? They shouldn't even be here. Fuck you. You know, piece of shit. And all the guys look at me. Like, should you, you know, be allowed to molest anybody here? Huh? Can you not have any fucking self-respect? Huh? They all look at me, they shrug their shoulders and go, yeah, he's right. You know? So nice, nice. Not nice, not nice. That's the key. That's what they're trying to screw up. That's why the offline information war is so important. Otherwise, people can't be nice enough to talk. Can't talk. Easy to control. Done. Right? Online, more and more censored. You know, there might be 50 people in Canada doing something of note online. There might be 500,000 people in Canada that might be paying serious attention to it. And there might be 35 million other Canadians going, mess, bother people, life is suffering. That's why the offline information war is so important. It's not just online, the offline information war. How do you help people communicate offline? How do you communicate offline? How do you not just look at YouTube videos that happen to be watched by, you know, 1 million people from 200 different countries, but how do you communicate, how do you communicate with people offline about that sort of thing where you live to affect positive change? That's all they got to take out, right? You can be on Twitter all you want, and it helps. Twitter, it all helps. But ultimately, where the logjam is offline, right? People will be like two different species, right? One species is polite, patriotic Canadian. Know what's going on. Make sure I'm cool. Other people are cool, and know what to do when it comes to this place, and can, you know, help people help themselves when it comes to, you know, what they want today and tomorrow. And the other species is a dog that can't stop barking at people and making them uncomfortable until nobody likes it, and then it just goes near people and barks. It's like two different species of humans, right? And they talked about that too, right? They talked about that. It's gonna be a difference. It's like telling a dog to fly an airplane, right? It's like saying, hey, you know, I think Canadians should be polite. Oh yeah? Force you to see me look ugly. Yeah, I'm so excited to. You really think so? Force you to see me look ugly. It's like, never mind. You can't get Canadians to be polite. You just teach a dog to fly an airplane. You know, it's easier. Why is it so hard to get Canadians to be polite? That's why the offline information war is so important. Right? You can see the damage that's been done. Right? You know, 5-10 years ago, you say Canadians should be polite, you're a moron. Canadians should be polite. We are polite. We're world famous for being polite. All across the country. Maybe a little different flavors, you know, regional. You know, where city makes it a bit more, you can't be as formal with people. But generally, nobody wants to be bothered to bother anybody. Right? So, but these days, that's all that happens. Anybody that's a human offline is more worth being attacked by a zombie and turning into a zombie. Right? That's what happens. You see? And they just compete, just like in the TV show Walking Dead or the movie World War Z. They will compete to try and turn humans into zombies. Right? They will start running faster, pushing each other out of the way, trying to force people to see them look ugly. They'll speed up. They'll just try and get away with it. They know it's hard to force people to see them look ugly. They know they might barely get a half a second to be looked at looking ugly. So they just, they race. They work so hard. They run. They just go crazy. Just like zombies in the Walking Dead TV show or World War Z movie or whatever. It's not like they're nice, polite zombies. You know, like one Canadian zombie sees another Canadian zombie, goes, "Oh, are you forcing that guy to try and see you look ugly? Well, that's cool. I'm out. I'm good. Oh, you seem to be busy with him. You guys are doing something. So you go ahead and force him to see you look ugly, and I'll be cool. I'll find someone else." They don't do that. They all compete to force, you to see him look ugly or attack you if you're acting like a human to try and make another zombie. Right? So that's why the offline information war is so important. You might think, "Hey, buddy, why don't you just vlog in your room?" I'm like, I vlogged in my room. I've done well. I helped support, the Toronto election campaign. I got hundreds of subscribers. And YouTube took my channel. Fuck you. You say there shouldn't be any trans kids? Fuck you. Gone. Shit. They really love that one. They love that one. The trans thing is the most important thing in the world to them. I may have helped them confirm that because of this stuff, right? But there's nothing more important than turning everyone into a lying, bitchy, sketchy, tranny, commie zombie, right? Not good at being a man, not good at being a woman, just good at making people put up with them till you don't like them, making everyone paranoid and being a mess, right? Don't have to be. It can be nice straight people, gay, lesbian, trans, whatever. But this is the most important thing to them, because this screws us people's ability to communicate. So you can have the smartest people in the world who have access to all the information in the world, right? Like the Library of Alexandria back in the day was, supposed to be great, right? You have all the information in the world on your phone. Right here. With this browser and this phone, I can find out just about anything. Right? But you can't talk about it. So that's the trap. That's the trap. Right? If all you can do is try and force people to see you look ugly, who don't like it till they don't like you, and then you just compete to do that, then that's the trap. Right? That's why the offline information war is so important. And that's why the gender confusion is so important. Look, it's been getting worse for years. And, the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I've spoken about these things, in general, not the specifics sometimes, because people are just uncomfortable, look away, quiet. "Oh, I know it sucks. That guy's sexually harassing other guys, jealousy harassing girls. Don't say anything. How it is. Some guys get all screwed up and screw everybody up, and then we all have to suffer, So fine. So not specifically. But generally, I've talked about this stuff with people, and they've generally been fine with it. They just can't do that much. It's like we're not supposed to be able to talk about how men and women should act, even if we're adults and we want to raise more men and women. It's like you're not supposed to be able to talk about it. It's like, "Hey, son, give me a firm handshake. Don't be no wet noodle. Don't lie. Look a man in the eye. Stay polite and brief and busy or friendly to be respected. Out of the way and on your way. Focus on your work. That's where you get your satisfaction and respect from. Girls, try and be graceful. Try and smile. Try and do this. Try and keep your self-respect. Try and be feminine. Try and be good at it. You can't. Right? Any signs of being human are just more worth being bothered by zombie. So any signs of being human are just more worth being bothered by lying, bitchy, sketchy, tranny, commie, pretend girlfriend zombie. It's worked up, doesn't care what you're doing, doesn't care what you have to say or do or what you're up to, just wants to make you put up with them, doesn't care if other people around are going to be uncomfortable, doesn't care about anything. Just wants to force you to see him look ugly, make you both uncomfortable. That's it. That's the mission. And part of that sort of Toronto transwashing is, when it comes to the offline information war, you may not understand, what that is, right? You may not understand, why, right? Here's why. When it comes to the transwashing, right? A lot of people who go transgender, like Walt Heyer, WaltHeyer at sexchangeregret.com, right? A lot of people who decide to go trans, they first of all, it's a bunch of issues, right? Psychological issues, alienation, weak, lying, bitchy father, weak, shrill, bitchy mother, or didn't connect well, no good role models, or they were abused or molested. Walt Heyer was dressed as a girl when he was a kid by his grandma, because his grandma wanted a granddaughter, but came out as son. So 2-3 dressing in little dresses for her amusement. And then his cousin was like, hey, grandma dressed you like a girl. I'm going to molest you like you're a girl. Ha ha. Like that's what you're supposed to do with a girl. But anyway, so, those things were on his mind. But otherwise, Walt Heyer was a really good guy. You can tell when a guy's a good guy or not a good guy, right? But otherwise, he was a really good guy. And so that happened to him when he was young. And then he was a high school athlete, went to university, met a nice girl, as a good guy, he was going to settle down and marry with this girl, right? But he told her, honey, I know we're dating and we're in college, but I have these thoughts in my mind of, thinking that I want to be a girl, right? And so I'm not sure about that. I'm warning you. And she goes, oh, well, we're in love. Our love will conquer the day, so, as long as we're doing it good, we should be fine. And so he was like, okay, honey, I want to be a good guy, do right by you. Yep.
My table is make you come sit there.
Oh, no. I'm busy. And so I was saying, he doesn't care what people are doing. He just does that near people. I'm saying, it doesn't care. It'll do that near other people until nobody likes it and don't want to do anything with it. It's okay. Nothing. Anyway, no offense. It just doesn't care what anybody's doing. Nobody cares what it's doing. It's fine. Okay, so Walt Heyer was he got married to his wife, and they had a couple of kids, right? And then, after a few years, somewhere in his 30s or whatever, he decided that he wanted to switch to try and be a girl, right? And there'll be tons of this all over the place. All these guys, all these husbands, and they're all going to go, or they're either going to screw up themselves or their girl will be so screwed up by what's going on that they'll always bust their balls. That it's going to be like, screw this. Better just be a rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girl than anything else, right? At least you're playing offense. Otherwise, you're always eating shit from one. So it's better to just turn into one and go feed people shit, right? So, that could happen en masse, right? But Walt Heyer, told his wife and kids, I'm sorry, these thoughts are still in my brain. I still think I want to be a girl. So he switched, and he's at sexchangeregret.com. You can hear his whole story. And it's fascinating, really good. But he switched. He got a sex change operation in the early 80s, right? Lost his job as a result of it. Went from Walt Heyer to Laura Jensen, right? And the reason I bring all that up is that as he's living as a trans woman, right, he was not like a trans hooker or something like that was horny, wanted to have sex with guys, wanted to have sex for money. He didn't even want to date guys, right? He didn't want to date guys because of his, brainwashing or his childhood issues or his molestation or his, poor bonds with his parents and others. All Walt Heyer wanted to do was get looked at like he was actually doing a good job at being a girl. That's all he cared about. That's all he cared about. And because he wasn't normally and naturally a girl, he was always worried about it. So he was permanently concerned, permanently worried, and permanently trying, and permanently hoping he's doing it right, and just permanently stuck there, right? And he said, after he switched to being a girl, went from Walt Heyer to being Laura Jensen, he said, the first year or two, the trans community blows a lot of smoke up your butt and says, oh, you're so beautiful, you're an angel, oh, you're just as good as a Victoria's Secret model, he's a middle-aged man, switching to being a middle-aged woman. But they blew smoke up his butt for the first year or two. And then after that, lonely, miserable mess, always worried about it, right? But he used to say that's all he wanted to do as a trans woman. He didn't want to date guys. He just wanted to get looked at. Just hope he got this right. Just hope I got this right. Wake up in the morning, put on my wig, put on my makeup, put on this, hope I did everything okay. And if I walk out my door, I hope they think I'm okay at this. And that's all he wanted. That's all he gave a shit about. And Transwash Toronto is a lot of the same. They don't even try to look like one though. So, but at least he was trying to look like one. But that's all he cared about. That's all he gave a shit about. Just desperate that someone, when they look at him, would see a girl. And he's always paranoid about it, always worried about it, right? And because good guy, but switched to being a nice middle-aged woman, he was never sure if he was doing a good job. He was never sure if people were being honest with him. He was never sure if he was being honest with people, because obviously, he switched genders as opposed to whatever. And so he was always paranoid about it. And that's what leads to massive suicidal feelings and a 40% suicide attempt rate, according to a survey of 17,000 transgenders in the US done by a transgender organization. Right? It's about 25 times higher than the normal population. Right? And it's not because these people hate transgenders, they like them. The transgender like, hey, we're a transgender organization, we're reaching out to help transgender people, can you fill out this survey? So they reached out to 17,000 and they found 40% attempted suicide. And all these stories of trans people beating up trans people, this almost never happens. There's almost none of them. And the only time it might happen is if some tranny hooker, tries to trick a guy into having sex with him, and then that guy gets mad and beats the crap out of him. Right? That can happen once in a while. But otherwise, typically it doesn't happen. It's not like people just suddenly go, I need to beat you. They might not like you, they might not want to look at you, but they don't beat you. There was tranny hookers on Jarvis in Toronto for years. Right? Big 6'4", 200-pound guys that kind of look a bit girly. And we drive by them, we joke around. We're like, hey, if you're going to get one of those hookers, make sure you check the underwear label. If it says may contain nuts, that might not be the one you want. Right? There's nothing. Nobody cared. Right? So we're good at it. Nobody forced them to put up with them. Whatever. Right? But with the brainwashing, the transwashing, or whatever, that's what's happening to a lot of normal guys, and then of course girls and kids who have to put up with and act like them. Right? Is when Laura Jensen, Walt hire after he switched to be a girl, when he went to Sears, a department store, and he went to the guy at the counter or whatever, and he had a green blouse and a yellow blouse. He said, excuse me, I'm a middle-aged woman, do you think this green one or this yellow one looks better on me? And if the salesman was, nice gentleman, treated her well or whatever, as well, lady, I think the green one looks better, matches your eyes. Oh, stop, you're so fun, I'll take this, please. That's what made him happy. Not dating, not nothing, just the idea of somebody perceiving them as a female was all he wanted. And yet he was always paranoid about it because, he's lying to people or he's confusing, might not be giving him the whole truth about who he is. They might be lying to him, blowing smoke up his ass, just trying to put up with him, sure, whatever. Whew, glad they're gone. That dude's kind of weird, right? So they're always on edge. And that's why the offline information war is so important. Because polite patriotism in the offline information war can make sure 98% of people straight are great at it, and 2% LGBT whatever can also be great at it within those parameters. Otherwise, this is one of their favorite brainwashing things. Because it makes it impossible. Right? Let's just say there was a nice, polite, proud, patriotic, conservative Canadian in the city of Toronto, Canada. And they were simply trying to make sure that there were polite Canadians in even a big city like Toronto, Canada. I mean, it's a big city. It's not Anna Green Gables, PEI. I know, but you can at least be polite Canadians. You don't have to be all old-fashioned-y and stuff, but just be nice, Let's just say there was a guy doing that. What would the response be? Right? A bunch of guys desperate to get looked at like they're a woman, bad at it, and they made women bad at it, and there you go. See? That's why the offline information war is so crucially important. There are thousands, tens of thousands, might even be 500,000 people in Toronto that could help everyone be nice and polite, relax and get along and know what's going on. But if one of them tries, guess what happens? See? Just more worth bothering. If one of them tries with each other, guess what happens? So it's just easier to be a zombie. Right? And I understand. You know, I'll go to the Eaton Center, and I was there last weekend, family day weekend or whatever, and a bunch of parents there, kids. Worst case is scare the mild ones. And you know, I'm just a polite old man going for a walk. I gained a couple of pounds over the winter, like often happens because of comfort food and stuff. And I'm not crying. I'm just not bitching, not snitching. I'm just saying. So I used to go for a walk in the mall, you know, when it's cold outside, like an old man, right? And I've got to walk around like this. You know, not outside because you don't want to be advertising. I'm not paying for square footage. Like this, like this. Avoid that. They're happy. They go. Next one. Happy. They go. Next one. Happy. They go. Next one. Happy. They bump into you. This. Ah, that's better. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Ah, that's better. Whoop, 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 whoop. Ah, that's better. Whoop, ah, that's better. Whoop. You don't want to get in an argument with one of them. If you get in an argument, there's more lying, bullshit, up your ass. What are you talking about? Get them. This is not nice. It's all just garbage, right? Bother people, lie, make people uncomfortable, embarrassed, can't explain, get mad at you. You know, it's so. You know, but that's what happens. That's why that trans washing is so important. It's not about, you know, Scotiabank thinks 0.01% of Canadians are really important. Yay! It's like, hey, Scotiabank, there's 1 million Canadian children in poverty. Why don't you give them $10 each and get some good PR? Not our thing. 0.01%. People super important. Everybody must bend over backwards. Yeah. Put up with it. Yeah. But what? It's not even good PR. That's why. If they can turn people into that, people who are constantly uncomfortable in their own skin, right? Like me, as a you know a polite Canadian man, right? You've got to. It's hard these days. You've got to take more and more steps, right? Before you didn't need the hat low. You didn't need before, when it was just almost never people worked up bothers strangers for no reason, right? You just politely look away, and they just keep just get off on it, and they keep going, right? And even when other people start doing it, guys start doing it, sexually harassing each other, jealous harassing girls, they broke the girls start doing it. You could look away, and people will get embarrassed. Hey, how's it going? Yeah. Oh, force you to see me scratch my head, touch my head, wipe my nose. Yeah, how's it going? Yeah, it was uncomfortable. Yeah, no, force you to see me put up me. You just look away, and they go, huh? What? Oh, yeah. It's embarrassed. They stop. That's how I stopped the whole thing back in the day. When it was just 20-30% of guys sexually harassing each other, jealousy harassing girls, and the rest of the guys were soft. But they weren't. They could. If you said something, they didn't want to bother you. They just listened. They looked at you and they thought about it, and that was it. And the girls were in great shape, and they weren't broken yet. So they like you, busy man doing important things, right? And yes. You mind if I take a little time? If I just make it stand still? No, don't waste my time. Make it stand still. Okay, and they'd just be cute near you. And then they'd go away. It's like a bird. Bird's there. You look at the bird. Hey, pretty bad bird flies away. Good enough. It's a pretty bird. So it's no big deal, right? And so that was normal, right? And so you could just say, and then guys would that's all they did. They just did it in Toronto. I know because I couldn't say anything once it was done. Once it was after a summer, then it was over. And then you can't say anything unless you're an asshole. What are you doing? All these people nicely acknowledging each other, and you're stupid. Hey, asshole. But otherwise, they're assholes, and so you can say something and say, "Don't be assholes," and it's okay. But I stopped. And I couldn't. There's nothing to say. And then it came back when I didn't get paid to keep pushing against it. And then they broke the girls, and once they break the girls, then it's whatever. This big ugly dog. 6'5", 250-pound guy, worked up force you see the ugly. It'll scare the shit out of you. And then I'll just sit there feeling sorry for itself. Right? Those little dogs, they're not as scary, but they can bark longer. They'll go longer. The big dog, and it's just there, it's embarrassed, it's just whatever. Whereas the little ones, right? So they just keep going. So then that's how they kill the rest of the guys. Or yours kills, even if you're a nice guy, yours gets in this mess and then they're killed and they come home and they kill you, or vice versa. So that's why the offline information war is so important. Right? All these people, or all used to be people, all these people used to be people, and they used to be able to help each other. But now, if anybody is not zombie and can be a nice, helpful human, they're attacked because they're more worth attacking and turning into a zombie. That's why a lot of people just find it safer to be zombies. Right? You go to the Eaton Center, Mall Eaton Center, you'll have little kids. You'll have little 5, 6-year-old kids, you know, running at you, trying to force you to see them look ugly, running in front of you. You know, you almost trip over them. It's like, screw this. They'll attack me. I'm like this, and look away, look at this. Sometimes the families will send them. The family's right there. Go, go, go. Yeah, little boy, go, go. Go get him, go get him, go get him. And they'll send them to attack you. Especially if you're nice to people. If I'm nice to the woman at the Dollarama dollar store, she's nice to me, you know, and I'm leaving, and this mom sends her, go get him, go, run up to his leg, bite his leg, you know, whatever. You avoid that. Have some self-respect. Don't be a mess for yourself or anybody else. You know, that's why that's promoted so much. You know. And that when it comes to the offline information war, because it's the worst way people can get along, right? If you're a man, you're like, hey, you know, don't lie, look a man in the eye, you know, give me a firm handshake, you know, polite, brief, busy or friendly, be respected, out of the way, on your way. Girls, same, but also polite, gracefully distracting, you know, as long as you're nice to each other and confident masculine strength. Each confirms the same, we're cool, we know it. Nobody, if anybody is screwed up, you can lift them up. They're not trying to bring you down. Girls, hey, you know, nice to have a girl here? Sure. Whatever. Right? And because of the tranny commie zombie apocalypse, all that is just attacked. That's also why, in creating Canadian Fight Club, all those guys, because there used to be bits and pieces left of people. There was bits and pieces left of guys, bits and pieces left of, you know, normal guys, cops, security guards, bits and pieces, and I give you a guy nod. Yeah, I know, it's crazy shit. You see to be on it. Yeah, cool, man. Yes, Mr. Durden. You know, whatever. So whatever, same shit, right? But that's why it's so important for, just like the movie Fight Club, you know, because otherwise you get the online information war, which is fine. But if all we do is live online, we might end up like the Matrix from the 1999 movie Matrix, where we just live online in pods trapped in the late 20th century. You know? It's like, hey, you know, what else is coming out? Oh, they're remaking Alf. Oh, they're remaking Different Strokes. Oh, they're remaking Married with Children. Oh, they're remaking Transformers. Oh, they're remaking G.I. Joes. Oh, they're remaking Fresh Prince. But it's a gay, Hispanic, lesbian, disabled Fresh Prince. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, they're remaking. You're trapped online in the late 20th century, because that was the most fun we've ever had, and everything else is going to fucking suck. Just like the movie The Matrix from 1999. So they trap you online in the late 20th century in pods, right? And the opposite of that is retro culture and so on, and online this and online that, whatever. The opposite of that is Fight Club. It also came out in 1999. And if you believe, you know, evil people, you know, might use 1999 upside down 666 plus, like Batman villains, they've got to kind of tell us what they're going to do, give us a chance to stop them, and then if we don't stop them, they can say, see, we can give them a chance, but, you know. So the opposite, the other option with respect to 1999 movies is Fight Club, right? Guys at work, you know, just like in Fight Club, right? Like in the movie Fight Club, Edward Norton, who played Tyler Durden, as well as Brad Pitt, whatever. He was just an average guy at work, right? Just an average guy at work. You know, just like here at 5:59 p.m. on Friday, February 22nd, 2019, downtown Toronto, Canada. You know, just an average guy at work, right? And you know what you have to do at work. Weak, lying, bitchy, sketchy, crumpled pussy man. Weak, lying, bitchy, sketchy, crumpled pussy man. How's it going? Oh, you know how it is. It is what it is. I better not say anything. No, you know it is. Oh, you know, it's okay. Everything's just okay. You say you're happy, you're a badass. No, 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 no. Don't you do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Weak, lying, bitchy, sketchy, crumpled pussy man at work. Got my shirt on, got my tie. Boss is busting my balls. Right? So at work, that's what you have to do. Or in public, or different things. Right? You're as the busboy at a local restaurant, and that guy's getting up your ass, the maitre d', hey, I'm your bitchy sketchy girlfriend picking on you because you are a busboy at this restaurant. The girls, I'm your bitchy sketchy ball busty. Oh, okay, sure. No, miserable bitchy sketchy lying crumpled pussy man. Got it. No problem. I know what to do to be cool. And that was the movie Fight Club. And then some of those guys got together privately. They agreed to respect each other more than normal. And they could think, talk, fight, and do stuff for where they live. Now, I'm not saying every second of that 2.5-hour movie is gospel. I'm just saying the idea is there. And that's what would compensate for this. And if you're like, what about the girls? Girls can do anything guys can. It's like, no. And vice versa, no. And if you try, so. Fuck cares. It's a shittier being a girl or shittier being a guy. Unless you're really super good at it. You're not going to be happy or make anyone happy anyway. Now, if you're really good at it, fine, whatever. Oh, you're just shittier at it. Right? And fuck no. You think I ask girls, hey, go yell at these guys. Stop valuing you. Stop sexually harassing each other for asking girls. What? I've joked about it a couple of times, but it's just not serious. You start getting scared. You know, just mention it. No, wait. You're there, Middle Eden Center, and you know, say, hey, is this guy by this girl? You know, it's stupid. Hey, you girls, you know, you're equal. You could, it's joking. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so the guys could get together, and they could, respect each other in private. They agreed. If you know your buddy has to force you to see him look ugly, make you both look sketchy and uncomfortable, then you can't, because you're going to screw it up. Guys got to get their men. You know, we come here to do something serious, feel our balls. You know, feel like guys, get some stuff done for the hood. Yeah, it's so cool. Pretend bitchy, sketchy, ugly girlfriend. Force you to look ugly. Oh, I feel really bad. Let me crawl over in the corner and pull down my pants. Stick anything you want in my ass. Stick anything you want in my ass. I'll give you my ass as an apology. I know I'm such a miserable bitch. Just force you to look ugly. Oh, made us uncomfortable. Oh, I ran to the corner. Oh, I bent over something. Just put whatever you want in my ass. You gotta be like, look, Frank, you're a good guy. And I like you. But when it comes to this meeting, you just can't be here. Okay? So you got to go. And then once you go, and nobody's worried about someone forcing them to see him look ugly, just like in Fight Club, in the movie Fight Club, oh, look, quiet, crumpled, bitchy, sketchy pussy, man. Mm-hmm. But when they're privately together in the basement of the bar or wherever the hell they privately meet, they're like, bitchy, sketchy, crumpled pussy? No? Nobody? Nobody's going to do that here. You can all think, talk, and fight and do stuff for where we live. Nobody's going to do that here, right? All right. And then they just pop up, and the head pops up, and the shoulders back, and the chest is out. All right. What's going on here? Oh, man, I'm just saying, man, some shit goes down, you know? Fucking A. And they talk to each other, and they respect each other, and they get along, and they communicate, and they figure out what to do for where they live. Right? No, it's not. No. Crumpled line, bitches, sketchy pussy, man. It's a messed up girl. You know how it is. Don't you complain to me, honey. I'm a messed up girl, too. You too, homie. No. What can I do? What can you do for me? Just drop it. Right? But once they agree not to do that, then they can rise to their full, you know, for example, me, you know, sometimes I sound bigger or look bigger, but it's average height, average weight, average build. Sometimes not. Sometimes it's smaller. Sometimes bigger, though. Right? Depends. Right? And so, you know, you can rise up to your full 5'10", 165 pounds. And that guy can rise up to his, you know, full, you know, 6'10", 275 pounds. You just, all right. So we respect each other. So, what's going on? What do you want to do? What do you want to talk about? It's cool. What's going on? Yeah. Right? Now, they can't come. because they'll just get so excited to force you to see them look ugly, and then feel bad, and then run in a corner and pull down their pants and offer their asses an apology and say, please, just put whatever you want in here. Just see those beers you're drinking, just put it in. I'm so bad. They can't come because that's all they want to do. But if other guys can respect each other, just like in the movie Fight Club, some guys could come, some guys couldn't. Can you think, talk, and fight? Physically is one thing, right? Physically is one. I'm not saying you have to physically fight, although that was a point of the movie. It's an option. But even mentally and verbally, that was also part of the movie. It wasn't like they were a bunch of deaf, mute animals, just, no, they're sitting around, watching TV, shooting the shit, no girls around. And the girls might be like, why you me, why you me, why you me, why you me? And it's like, hey, listen, you want the guys to come back and be good at being guys or what? Okay, you go play hockey, beat each other up. When you come home, you get all your piss and vinegar out, and we'll Netflix and chill. Like, you're fine. But the issue with the girls being there is you're supposed to be nice to girls. No, you're not supposed to be not nice to guys, but you're supposed to be cool with guys. Not nice. Not that extra nice. Just cool. That's cool. Hey, what's up? Girl, hey, how's it going? No, you look great. You're supposed to be nice. And so when it comes to dealing with things, you're supposed to be nice. So you've always got to sort of, you can't put your balls into what you're saying to them as much and as often, and you're not supposed to deal with as much stuff. You're supposed to have that double standard with confident masculine strength and feminine vulnerability. That's supposed to be there. So if it was, say, me and 20 Canadian men, right? And they're way easier to talk to about, with themselves, right? In the men's room, at the gym or whatever, men's room at the gym or the Y or whatever, I'd be, a few years ago, now things get crazier and crazier, but as things were getting worse, men's room at the gym, without being sensitive to girls around, fucking rip them a new one. Hey, you trying to fucking pretend to be my ugly girlfriend in the men's change room? Here, and I say some shit, and their balls jump inside their body, and they all shut the fuck up, and they're all quiet and embarrassed. They're all like, so lay some hardcore shit on them. This is what's gonna happen. This is your life. We're like, but they're cool. We're cool. Don't fuck with each other. It's all good. They start girls around. Yeah. It's nice. But if you have to do something else, that's different, right? If you have to do something else, it's different, right? But, otherwise try to be nice. Now, and I'm talking about generally. Some girls, out there, ass-kicking, whatever. But generally speaking, and if guys get together and there's no girls to either encourage them to jealously compete with them or to be nice to, where you're like, well, I'm not so sure about that, then they can talk, right? And even in small situations, right? I'm hanging out with a friend of mine, and there's, they're a family there, right? Husband, wife, 2 kids, right? I know them, right? And so I'm saying to the guy, don't see him that often, how's work, right? How's work, right? And then I get the girl looking at me, giving me a dirty look. How could you bring up work? We're just hanging out at a nice little social setting here. So I give her a dirty look back. What the fuck you doing, bitch? You want me in this negative fucking kick it or what? You want us to get along? Fuck is your problem? Fuck off. So I give her a dirty look back. And so she calms down. Well, at least I like each other. Who cares? And so she calms down. And then I say this to you again. And he's looking at me. He's looking at me. He's like, well, I know you're cool. I got to hang out with my wife. So I don't know. Can we bring it up? And so how's work? So he tells me, work is going well. I'm doing well. Company's doing well. I'm in a senior position. And things are going great. So I'm like, hey, I'm so happy for you, man. Right? And then he says to me, how's work? I say, how's work is? Oh, it's going good, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then we're finished. And then we turn to the rest of these little munchkins, the women and children and whatever, needy little munchkins. We're like, okay, we're cool. What's up? And the woman's like, and the respect that we have for each other just washes over the room. We're cool. We're cool. We're cool with each other. Everything's cool. What's up? The girl's like, respect washes over the room. Kids are like, oh, look at those guys seriously talking to each other. Ooh, must be important. Hey, they're finished. Well, that was cool. It's nice to have them around. And they were just, did you deal with all this other stuff? Right? But the opposite happens, especially when generally people don't respect each other. Then it becomes harder to communicate across the board. Right? Because otherwise they wouldn't start shit like that much. Or it wouldn't be hard to stop, or whatever. So there is a double standard there. And that's why I recommend, people, especially today, whoever can, right? All the yellow vest protesters coming from Western Canada down to Ottawa, might be guys, girls, mixed up, husbands and wives. Maybe he works a lot, and he's a trucker, and she's got time to spend on the internet, and so he comes home and she goes, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this. Who knows, right? But archetypically, when it comes to guys kind of feeling their oats and expressing themselves comfortably, if girls are around, you're not supposed to just be like, whatever. Because you're a shittier version of yourself, and you'll get a shittier version of the girl back. If you're a guy, you're like, hey, bro, we're all the same. No, bro, yeah, nice purse. Yeah, no, it's cool, guys. It's all good. No fucking, I don't care. I'll fucking scratch my balls in front of you. It's all the same. I don't give a shit. And the girl's like, whoopsie, okay, yeah, no problems. Yeah, it's all good. It's a mess too. Yeah. What? Right? Whereas if there is a double standard based on people being nice to each other, if they're not nice, then have some self-respect for the next one. Nice, cool, nice. No, it's okay, next one. Don't be a mess for the next one. Politely have some self-respect to make sure you're not a mess for other people. I think that's a reasonable obligation when it comes to adults and Canadians and people in general. Right? So that is the key, right? That is a key, is as an option. And I've done it myself with guys, right? Back with Truth Seekers in 2009, there was some girls there, and there was some girls hanging out, and those girls were cool. But when it came to the more physical aspects of the offline information war, getting out there, putting up posters, putting up, flyering cars, mailboxes, businesses, getting the word out in the street, dealing with, difficult questions, tough questions, dealing with the cops, with our G20 martial law, the cops, the Greys, they have nothing to do except for, check on anyone who's doing anything. Guys here, he's got a machine gun. Well, we have machine guns. You're sort of pointing them at you. I'm like, yeah. You guys need to just chill, right? Hey, you see any protesters? No, I'm against the protest. I'm protesting it. Oh, okay. Yeah, so is. Yeah, you guys calm down. Fuck. Or even when they were scaring people in Toronto, and I yelled at them in July of 2010 or whatever, June, July 2010, whatever it was. And they were just all hopped up and glaring at everybody and scaring everybody. And I went there with my camera and I recorded. I had a radio show. I played it on the radio. And I screamed at them. What the fuck are you doing? 35 degrees. You're wearing a wool suit. Stop scaring the shit out of everybody until everybody's quiet and uncomfortable. Just chill the fuck out. Put your stupid cop hands in your stupid cop belt. Put your head up, shoulders back, and just keep an eye on things. What the fuck is wrong with you? Randomly scaring everybody here because a couple of assholes are going to do something. And I went to the cops, and the cops went to me. And that was it. And then I went back the next day, and they were cool. Down Bay Street area, big wall and all this stuff. They were cool. Instead of being just glaring at everybody. You might be a protester. You might be a protester. You little old lady. That might be an evil black bloc disguise. They were just like, nope. Hands on the cop belt. Head up. Just circling on a swivel. There. Nope. There. Any second I can put a hole in your fucking hole. But I was just chilling, just keeping an eye on things. Fuck, that's way better. And that's because it's easier for guys to talk to each other. They have to really talk to each other than it is for guys and girls to, or girls to talk to guys. It is what it is. You know? If you want to say, no way, no way, no way, no way, do anything, all the same, do anything, do anything. The same, it's all the same, do anything, yeah, it's all the same. You know? It's like, okay, you know? Look, I saw a 5-foot-tall, 90-pound Hollywood actress in a movie kicking the shit out of a 7-foot-tall, 300-pound guy. But I have never seen one 5-foot-tall, 90-pound girl do anything except for feel bad near some big ugly guy near her. Ever. I've seen it a lot. Ever. I've been in there mixing it up. I'm in there following that guy, yelling at him. Yell at him a little bit, it's not so bad, embarrassed, whatever. Yell at him too much, he starts fighting with you. If you don't have anything in your hand, it takes a long time. If you carry around a glass bottle of Arizona iced tea, it takes a short amount of time. Not a big deal. Some of them are really big, creepy, scary American Psycho guys. Just like, just like obsessively work out in my room, and I put up pictures I clipped from the newspaper, and I'm picking on this little girl for me. I'm like, hey, buddy, whoa, and I'm picking on you, shit. And you gotta keep a certain distance, judge the angles and all this shit, occasionally get into some scrapes, right? So,
I think what we can do is it's a guideline for
that's different.
So we can't say no to the guidelines.
Right? You know, and the girl, none of her business anyway. Not with strange men bothering, not with other men around. None of her business. You know? Or radical migrants, right? Now that we're doing the radical migrant thing, and we're doing the same thing Europe did, even though Europe's done it for 10, 20 years, and they're completely fucked up. You know, you can't say that to people because you're not nice to each other, you can't talk to each other, you know, offline. And then online, you can't really talk to people. You can just sort of speak to nobody and everybody and hope it has some net positive effect in many cases, right? But now that we're doing the same thing, you know, I don't want to see the same thing happen in Europe happen here, where on a German subway train, 18 women were molested for 2 hours by a new African migrant. And it could happen anywhere. It could be a German guy in Africa just walking around the train. I love black boobies. I love black bum-bums. I love black boobies and bum-bums. And you stupid, lying, bitchy, sketchy African men can't do shit. And the guy's just, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girl, look at my phone. Bitchy, sketchy, ugly girl, look at my phone. Bitchy, sketchy, ugly girl, look at my phone. And they're just annoying each other. You know, while this guy's walking around the subway train molesting women. Right? And as I explained to a police officer who asked me about vlogging at the Eaton Center, I said, hey officer, you know, you heard about what's going on in Europe? He says, yep. He didn't get into it, but he said, yep. 100% knows why I'd be concerned. I was like, all right, great. So I said, if you're in your civilian clothes, and I'm in my civilian clothes, and a migrant, an African migrant, say, it could be anybody, tries to molest 18 Canadian women on a subway train for 2 hours, we wouldn't let that happen. I said, you're not dressed in cop clothes, you're a civilian, I'm a civilian. But we respect each other, we get on the subway. Hey, what's up? Hey, cool. We mind our business. And then if we notice something, we look at each other, we go over and we stop it. Like that. And the cop was like, all right, cool, man. Just, you know, keep it down a bit. Don't scare people too much. There's a lot of people here, but good luck. Hey, you too, officer. It's tough out there. Tough job. A lot of nothing, but that's something could be helped, right? So,
But if you say conference,
it's all good.
if you say training, then it's allowed.
But otherwise, that's what happens. And they'll rape guys, too. They rape guys, too. They rape anybody. They don't care. Especially a population that doesn't have self-respect and that doesn't respect each other. That's nothing. You know, a guy goes, fuck you, lying, bitchy, sketchy, pretend girlfriend. Well, yeah, we take you to garage, rape you, throw you in the river. Girls, fuck you, lying, bitch, do whatever I want. Well, yeah, we take you to garage, gang rape you, throw you in the river. What do the rest do? Try to do the same thing. So you can't do much. Right? So that's why polite patriotism is so important. Right? And as things get worse, you know, faster and faster, every second of every day, you know, everybody screws everybody up a little more. That's why I've got manforwars.com, and that's why I've got the last couple of years on video, you know, pretty consistently. You know, I wanted to end it July 1st, 2018, and I made a big deal. I got in great shape, took my shirt off, and everyone's like, yeah, cool, we like it. That was it. Shit. So, then I wanted to end it July 1st, 2018, but it didn't work. So I stopped, right? And then, you know, say, well, still, I want to cover my ass and anybody else's ass who wants covered, and then we're good. Anybody that doesn't like bothering people, doesn't like being bothered by people, doesn't like being forced to see people ugly, which is a lot of people. You know, people love forced people to see them look ugly, but they don't like being forced to see people look ugly that much. Right? So it becomes a big competition. They know, like somebody worked up trying to force you to see them look ugly, thinks you like it. They know you won't like it, you won't like them, and they don't care. That's all they want to do. In fact, they like bothering people who don't like it even more until you don't like them. Right? That's why it's safer to just be a zombie. Right? That's why. And I get it. I've ignored it for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Right? As it's been getting worse and worse and worse. But I get it. If there's some giant, scary, hairy, creepy, sketchy weirdo guy, worked up force you to see me look ugly. I am your rude, sketchy, ugly girlfriend. I'm your bitchy, sketchy, ugly girlfriend. Like, okay, fine. Yeah, me too, I'm yours. Whatever, what do I do? Fuck, shit. Right? I get it. Right? That's why I've got manforwars.com. So, either nothing is happening, there's nothing happening that's worth commenting on when it comes to people being nice and polite to each other and making it easier to get along and communicate well, raise confident children who can. There's nothing happening worth worrying about in that sense. Or there's something. Either I did nothing and am currently doing nothing, which is totally fine. I don't like bothering people. I don't like bothering people with people already bothered. You know, I don't like bothering people. I don't bother people bothered. It's totally fine. Nothing is happening worth being concerned about, and you are doing nothing, and you don't even exist. Fine. What can you do? Right? Or something is happening. That's what you did. This is how we feel. We can use it, and we can stop. That's it. What else can I do? Nothing. You can't do anything with anyone except for force them to see you look ugly or be forced to see them look ugly. You know, most of the time. So you can't do anything. I would be happier if, and this happened way back in the day, you could just put it out there and people could hear it, think about it, talk about it, or, you know, act differently. You know, that's no problem. You know, I don't care. If I'm like, look at this, I got 2 guns, sunglasses, I'll sign up, all right. Just avoiding people, okay. Just trying to not be a mess for myself or other people to put up with. And then I show up and it's like, wait a minute, people are all nice to each other? What? All right, take this off, take that off, take this off. And then just be cool. Just get a bite to eat. Maybe, drop off a resume, go back to work. So, you know, I don't care. I'm easy. You know, not the sharpest knife in the Christmas tree, but not the dumbest. Sharpest knife in the Christmas tree, whatever that is. So yeah, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't say anything. I don't bother anybody. Just do this. Polite. Yeah, it's going. Hey, it's going. Hey, how you doing? Hey. Yeah, just generically, make sure you're not messing your people. Smile, what's up, nod, whatever. Then it's nothing. Just done. What was all that yakety about this and that? Oh, it's nothing. Nobody liked it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody ever wants to hear about it again or deal with it again. It's gone. So I'd be fine with it. But that isn't what happens or happened. So that's why it keeps going like this. See? So that is the offline information war. Right? All these smart Canadians, some of the smartest people in Canada, like here at 6:24 p.m. on Friday, February 22nd, 2019. You know, they make it normal to respect each other and communicate well. And then this stuff is not only easy, it's fun. Because it's more fun to be able to look, walk, talk, and feel great, to say more about more, as opposed to the stress of saying less about less. It's more fun, you know. It's more fun not being near people and just worrying about them being a mess or you being a mess. It's way more fun, right? It's more fun. Now you could be, it's more fun to feel your balls and feel your eggs. It's more fun. It's more fun if, guys know how to be cool with each other, and girls do, and kids, and whatever, and it's more fun. So when it comes to polite patriots out there promoting be nice, keep in mind be nice appeals to everybody, and it makes it easier to say get bad guys. If you just say get bad guys to screwed up people that are miserable, then you can't. As people know, obviously. People know you can't bring anything up, can't do anything. It's hard enough, right? Plus, if you always make each other uncomfortable, then you can barely say anything because everything you say might be perceived as trying to make someone uncomfortable. I'd be like, hey, how's it going? What's your put with me? Hey, you heard about the Jussie Smollett hoax case where that gay black actor from Empire, paid those guys to set him up and beat him up and act like they were Trump supporters and put a noose on him and throw bleach on him just because he wanted more money. He's a celebrity. He wasn't getting paid enough, $1 million a year for being on that TV show. And he thought, well, these people are worth framing. I'll frame them, even if it's fake. Those people are worth messing with because they're evil or whatever. Now, that's a great conversation to have about this, that, racism, hoaxes, victim culture, messed up people who want some credit for it. It's a great conversation. If you've got your balls and your eggs, you can have it. But if you're trying to make people uncomfortable, then it just sounds like you're messing with people, right? Yeah, racist hoax. Yeah, fake hate crime, messing with people. Yeah, no, it's just you make me uncomfortable, right? If you make people comfortable with how you act, then it's harder to make them uncomfortable with what you say. So the Overton window of, from, unthinkable to policy in a good way, or policy to unthinkable in a good way, as opposed to policy to unthinkable in a bad way, because it can go either way. When it comes to freedom, I'm individually free, I can mind my business, or get along well with people, or have freedom and opportunity and prosperity here. It's fantastic. Or the exact opposite. Everywhere I go, it's a paranoid mess, nightmare. It's like living in war-torn Somalia or ghetto. Everyone's messed up. It's hard to make it out alive, That's an option too. Right, so that's why the offline information war is so incredibly important to what's going on right now. And I'm happy. I'm happy about that. I'm happy that people can make moves on this if they like. As a Canadian, you would hate it. It's like if Chinese never spoke Chinese again. We are Chinese. Never speak Chinese again. Mandarin, Cantonese, gone. All gone forever. 5,000-year-old culture, gone. No, we are Chinese. We must save the Chinese language, Chinese culture, Chinese people. Nope, all gone. It's all gone to crap. It's like, no, it's just like polite Canadians. Right? We're polite Canadians. World famous for being polite Canadians. Go anywhere, they meet one. Anybody comes here, they almost always meet one. People talk about, nice place, so nice, it's so polite, so great. It would suck if that was all gone. Right? Just gone. What? It's the only thing we know about you. And hockey. Hockey, right? I think it's hockey. That's it. Right? So, suck if it was all gone. Right? So anyway, BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com. As I said, when it comes to the offline info war, make sure people can act nice enough to talk, about hours and hours and hours of online content they consume. Make sure most people straight are great at it, and others LGBT, whatever, can also be great at it and raise, nice, polite, confident, kids. And then you could possibly save your country. Yeah. And the proof of what happens if you don't is right here. Right? And I got tons more, right? And I got more with me saying nothing. You might be like, well, you're being a douchebag. It's like, no, I've done nothing. I've stuff with just me just listening to headphones, reading my phone. And they do that anyway. They don't do anything else. They just walk around forcing people to see them look ugly and running away when it's hard to be near people because you force me to see them look ugly. So anyway, that's why it's so dangerous. And that's what happened in Toronto, Canada. So anyway, BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com. Feel free to support the Man for Wars efforts as you'd like, and success breeds more, and if I have a lot of success, then this will be over, here and possibly worldwide, because it's a multicultural demographic here, so it should pretty much apply anywhere. And if not, then not. Right? So, and people can do other things as well, of course. So 6:30 p.m., Friday, February 22nd, 2019. BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com. I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.